Uh, well enough.
Okay, we'll take it at
Let's just put it this way: I'm not being seduced by the eye. Oh, it's tough being a guy, isn't it?
We're having we had a problem with our drain pan in the shower,
Yeah.
which means all of the tile had to be pulled up. And we got a plumber coming
I
today.
went through that.
Yeah, we got a plumber coming today to put the drain
Insurance
pan
will
in.
cover that.
Will?
Oh yeah. Take pictures. Tell you to call your wife right now. Tell her to take lots of pictures. Your insurance has to cover that. Sure.
Okay.
And then,
Well, the tile guy's $1,000, so
see, yeah, but listen,
and $250.
you know about a private adjuster, right?
Yeah,
I'll tell,
yeah,
or I'll
yeah.
tell you on the air.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, you know how you always have your system down when you take a shower. Okay, the soap is here, the shampoo is here. You
Yeah.
get out of the shower, the deodorant's here.
Yeah.
Well, everything's in a box in the kitchen, and I can't use that shower, so I had to use my wife's shower. And I'm going, where the hell is there? And I'm walking back and forth.
I mean, with your eyes closed and the soap in your eyes.
Yeah.
Tell the story on the air.
So.
Oh,
that's,
glasses. Glasses. Okay, good.
There you go. You got a set.
Some new dollar glasses.
There you go. So you're 325. These are 175, and that's just for reading. Did you have cataracts done?
No.
No, I did.
I had a Toyota done, but
I got to get in there. They're coming. Okay. We got 2 minutes to air.
Yep, they're coming. They're coming.
how do my dollar glasses look?
Oh, wow.
Rhett, hit the Facebook button.
I like the
I
dog.
did. We're on now.
Is it on? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want Iris to say?
I think
Tell
they're
me.
here. I think.
Oh, probably on a chair would do good.
What do you, who do you
Just you
want?
tell me where to sit
Uh,
and where to go.
Okay, we'll have
Iris.
Iris over here to the red.
Iris
The
Matt.
We'll
red.
have this young lady in the middle,
Okay.
and this here close
You like
to
that?
her. Yeah, that's a
Just
new
don't have to
additional
tell
thing
me.
there, huh?
Well, don't you think it's more distinguished?
Do you have to wear that?
No.
What are you doing with that?
You
Well, I
want a
thought
tag?
you could put it every
He
once in a
wants
while.
to be a
Just-
pirate.
You know, just to give a little more pizzazz
Oh,
to
you
you.
got that for me?
Yes.
Well,
Rhett,
who
you
owned
have
this and why?
Stanford, you're not leaving without your
I
wig
just
fixed
thought-
up.
I thought it would, give you a little more pizzazz. You know what I mean? You gotta straighten your hair
Get
back.
there.
That's good.
You gotta straighten your hair.
Hello, mate.
Yes.
Ah,
Now, tell me how I'm supposed to talk or
Straighten your
sit.
hair back.
Okay. Everybody all set? When you talk,
Yes.
talk right into this, okay?
So bring
It's
it.
almost like you're swallowing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
So
I
Wanna
get
be
in
like that.
closer. Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Everybody coming close to their mics. Every time I have to tell you to come in
That's for
close, every time I tell you to come in closer to the mic. $1. Close to the mic. This includes you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can see everybody here.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's decent.
Mhm.
Okay. I think my headset needs to be a little louder. No, that's good, that's good.
You could put the headset on.
Oh, really good.
Okay. How do you like my new dollar glasses? How do you like my new dollar glasses?
Oh, I took the tag off.
Well, shucks.
I don't know whether I like them.
No,
How do you turn the volume down?
The
you
volume
don't.
is
You don't.
on.
No. Okay. Headset. From the. She needs her headset turned down. The one right
Just a
here, the
little
one
bit.
closest to you.
Yeah, this is a
She
little
needs to-
loud too.
His. He says his are a little loud too.
That's that's better.
You sure? He says his are better. Are yours better yet?
Mine hasn't gone down.
Hers hasn't gone down. She's on the red mic.
Gotta go way down.
Gotta go way down.
Oh, we could turn it up a little more.
Yeah,
You turn it up a little more than
mine
that.
too. You can't hear anything.
No.
Now
I can't
Stanford
even-
said you can't hear anything. I thought they were on separate.
You're in the open. Stand by.
You look more skull. I'm not
Hey,
here.
this is the mayor of the airways. Another beautiful day. What? All of a sudden you don't hear anything?
Right.
Okay, we got to get this straight. If she doesn't hear anything again, can we turn hers up really loud, Beverly? We can't be doing this on air, though, folks.
I
You
can
know,
hear-
this
I
has
can
to
hear
be.
now.
If you don't hear from now on, you don't hear.
I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it.
It's just this is no way to. It just starts my day off in an ill manner.
Right.
It's like, let's get this stuff straightened up before we go on air. Feel admonished? You feel admonished? Okay, you're admonished.
It's a beautiful day in paradise, right?
Jeez, every day it's with the headset. Every day. Is there some way, Mr. B, that we can set this up so that doesn't happen?
Test,
It's like
test.
it's an irritability comes over me when the first thing I do to greet my listeners is go, headset, this one's not, that's not working. Good thing we have a psychologist
Yes,
here today. Now her name is
Iris Madison.
Hi, Iris Madison.
Nice
Okay,
to meet
gonna
you.
charge you $1, Iris.
I'm not close enough to the mic. Okay.
Oh God, get me to New York or LA, please.
Anyway.
Okay, tell us about that. This irritability that comes over me when these things aren't right. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Does it make me a bad guy?
To answer your first question, no, it does not make you a bad guy. Is it a good thing? No. What do you think, though, I would ask? How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel that
Mm.
I don't want to say it.
Well, the way
It robs me of stuff like that, and I shouldn't let do it, but it'll rob me of the whole day. I get everything going. I'm all set to go. I'm all excited. It's like, well, just walk away from it. Let everybody just play the best of and walk down the street.
But
I
your
don't know.
name is on the marquee, and you want everything to go very well.
Yeah, too well. Well, so does Mr. B too. So I don't know what's going on with these headsets. And you have a hearing problem, so those always have to be up louder.
Yes, and it's perfect now.
Yeah. Can you actually hear well?
Very well.
Now, do you have a hearing aid on?
Yes.
But we're not getting any feedback. Sometimes we get feedback on that.
Well, it's according to which level I've pressed it. There are 4 levels on a hearing aid. So,
Those things are pretty expensive though these days.
but worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't hear.
What, like $5,000?
Yeah, 4 to 5.
Do you have one in each ear or just one in one ear?
My right ear is deaf, remember?
Okay, so the one ear, then that would only cost you like $2,500, which to me is a lot. I mean, I used to think hearing aids would be
4,000.
$4,000 for one side.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But
Well, I have a friend of mine, he got a new hearing aid, and he said it's the best that money can buy. I said, well, what kind is it? He says, $330.
You're laughing, but that's what happens when you don't hear well.
No, I was having dinner last night with the Parises, and Marty said, Rhett, you need to get a hearing aid. You're saying what too often?
And that's good advice.
All right.
Be careful.
So what are you irritable about out there today, folks? What irritates you the most? They got this guy walking through the door. He says, nothing on the radio. There's nothing on the radio. My radio's dead. Mr. B points up to his Bose. He goes, coming through the Bose, okay. Oh, not coming on my radio. Then we get everything set up to be on air. I can't hear. I can't hear. I can't hear.
No wonder you're irritable.
I did notice, Rhett, that your mug says keep calm and carry on.
Keep calm and carry on. Yes.
So
That's right.
you are practicing what you preach.
That's what he tells me every morning.
Yes.
Keep calm and carry on. Do you watch us on Facebook in there, Mr. B?
Yes, I do. I have to see where the guests are. This glass, you can't see past the second guest.
Yeah. Well, this whole show has not been nothing but heartache and trouble for me from day one, 23 years ago, because we came in here, we blew this wall out, we put in glass there, we put in glass. We figured, well, people will walk through the front door and they can watch what's going on in the studio live, And then we put a big glass thing over here for Mr. B so he could see through, Anyway,
Mhm.
So then we invite the sound engineers in. You can't have glass windows in a radio studio. That's going to be bad enough.
Mhm.
We had to do that thing. It's a $3,000 hurricane bulletproof thing we got over there. But anyway,
It's good, it's bulletproof.
so we had to, yeah, yes. People go, you're irritated, Mayor. Take this and drive by. You know, right? Here you go, Mayor of the Airwaves.
Well, for me,
What did he say? What did he say?
He said it works well for him.
Yeah, because he's afraid someone will shoot.
Yeah.
Get him. You know? Then I notice that whenever I get an engineer, they lock the front door when I'm not here because afraid somebody's coming thinking it's me and they'll get shot. Hey, Palmer, you don't look like I thought you'd look. But anyway, by the way, do you get that? Whenever I go, people say, I thought you were a short guy. So what?
They-
Because I got a deep voice.
They always say, I thought you were taller to me. So,
You can't please people.
I know.
It's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Life is a pain in the ass.
I met one woman, she said, you have such a sexy voice, but. That's really good for your ego.
Larry King. Larry King. I was out with Larry King a few years ago in Hollywood. He told me a story. He said he was first started on radio, and he's playing his music, and some lady calls up and says, "Hey, I like your voice. Well, come over." So he's young, you know. So he puts on a long playing record, gets in his car, because he's just a couple of blocks away, and all of a sudden, you know, they get the radio, and so he's monitoring it, and they're starting to make out whatever, and then all of a sudden, there's a thing in the record. What do you call it? Like a,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah. So it's playing over and over again. And he has to rush back. He said, "Thank God my show was on 2 o'clock in the morning. None of those people in authority for the radio station heard it." And that taught him his lesson not to be a wayward son, not to leave the studio when some woman calls up saying that they're being seduced by his voice. But he's a short little guy.
I know.
He's probably the ugliest man I've ever seen.
He's right up there.
No, he really is.
I know.
He kind of looks like a Geico. What do you call it?
Gecko.
And he has,
Yeah.
yes,
He does.
he has beautiful wives, I think. Yeah. it's
5 of
amazing.
them, I think. 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, that's a mockery. But anyway, so yeah, he does have beautiful wives, but you know what? So I'd probably have 5 of them if I was syndicated, right? Just like him. Hey, Dad, I want to grow up and be like. No, I don't want to grow up and be like. I do not want to.
Mhm.
But you know what's great about him is, first of all, you read his book. Larry King had ADHD, LD, whatever it is. But his son in the book said he has hyperfocus.
Mhm.
And that's why he's as good as he is. And that's what I've been told. Now, you're a psychologist, right?
I'm a licensed,
sorts?
yes. of
So do you know
sorts.
about this hyperfocus that people like me are gifted with? When we're doing a one-on-one.
Mhm.
Right.
The bad thing is you get 3 people in here. One that goes, I can't hear! I can't hear! Then you get another, I can't get anything on my radio. Play it on my radio. Then, whoa! God help me. These 2 should leave and you should stay.
I think a lot of people that have attention deficit disorder do have, that is part of the definition, is to have hyper focus and be hyper arousal. So, but it's also difficult to focus and stay concentrated on anything for any period of time if you have that.
Yeah.
But so, and that has its assets and it has its negative.
I interviewed the CEO of JetBlue. What impressed me the most is he was talking to me on the phone. I said, "What's that noise?" He said, "Well, I'm driving my 6 children to school." He was dropping them off at different schools. Impressed the heck out of me. That impressed me. He could say, "Oh, he owns his own private jet, or he has a Rolls Royce, or I have $10 million in this account and that." Doesn't mean anything. That crap all falls to nothing. The fact that he was taking his children really impressed me. But he has ADHD, LDL, whatever it is. And I said, "Why don't you attention deficit disorder?" And he said, "Well, he wouldn't want to get it fixed because he might lose his creativity."
That's interesting.
Well,
Is there
it
any
is,
truth to that?
there is some truth to that. It definitely gives you energy and motivation to accomplish tasks. The problem is sometimes you can't stay focused on any one task to complete it, and that can be a cause of frustration and depression as well. I mean,
Now-
they are connected
Now, Mr. B,
sometimes.
Mr. B, are you there, Mr. B? Now, Mr. B is our token Democrat. Okay, he's our token liberal Democrat. No, Beverly claims she's not
I'm the independent.
she's the
Yeah,
independent.
okay.
She's full of donkey dust. That's what she's full of. But anyway, she's the independent. So what was I going to say? So Mr. B though probably is about the healthiest mentally, the healthiest person that is here. It might be I'm at the least. Then there's the guest might be second, and Mr. B's at the top as being normal. So so we have the voice of objectivity.
Right.
How does it feel to be a normal guy? And how is it working in the studio thus far for you, Mr. B?
Just fine. And I would say, well, to be an engineer on our show and a producer, you have to be a little bit above normal.
And you are.
Above normal is abnormal, isn't it?
So,
We get text messages, we're not on the air, we get people calling in.
so this morning, yeah.
Rhett's going, what about these headphones? I got two, God gave me two of these. Right? Every control.
So you notice in there, he turned off, this is the first day he's turned off the light in there. He brought his own little lamp and he's turned off the light in the studio. So we get in this morning, he's behind the glass, he goes, how do I look? And I went,
And you came in and said, why is the light off?
so anyway, so he's looking through here and he says, how do I look? And what did I say?
About as much as I can see.
Something, I don't know. Anyway, so why did you bring this lady in for show and tell?
Well, I thought she could, check our psychology, if we're sane or.
Well, this is a good introduction.
I know.
It's a good
Yeah, I
introduction.
know. Right
She's
away.
going, this guy is definitely a candidate for Ritalin. Yeah. I actually have a friend on the beach, and he's an older man in his 70s. I guess that's older. In this town, really. 80 might be considered older. Seriously,
Yeah.
in this town. But anyway, he said he was amazed. He took Ritalin, I think it was Ritalin, something
Okay.
for his, and he
That's
says
it.
it's amazing the focus that
Yeah.
he has now.
Oh, that's true. A lot of people can certainly focus with Ritalin. It has its like everything. It has its advantages and its disadvantages. There are side effects, but for some people, the benefits outweigh the risks. So it
Well, there's
depends.
side effects.
But every medication, that brings me a good topic up though. Every medication does have a side effect, and that is something that people really need to weigh when they make a decision to take a medication for anything. It can be for
Yeah, you got to be careful. I know a guy that was in charge of the music for Calvary Chapel outside of Albany, New York. Was it Guilderland? No, it wasn't Guilderland. It was over to if you're facing that on a map, it would be east of Albany. What was the name of that? That doesn't really matter. West Sand Lake or East Sand Lake or something. Anyway, the guy was the music minister, and they put him on, what was the antidepressant? Anyway, he poured gasoline over his body and lit himself
Oh,
on
my
fire.
right, Prozac,
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many antidepressants on the
So,
market.
so the number one side effect of antidepressants is depression.
No, antidepressants. The answer is no. They can be helpful to people that are suffering from severe depression for a period of time, and some people stay on them for long periods of time. It depends on the individual, and it depends on what other problems they have or what other illnesses they have.
You know what concerns me is if you get on an antidepressant and then it changes the chemistry in the brain,
Right.
then you think you can whatever the right word is, yourself off of it. What's the right word I'm looking for?
Wean. Maybe.
Wean. Thank you very much. Wean yourself off. Congratulations, you got that right today. Is she right? The producers say you're right. You just want a free trip or two to Hawaii.
Sounds good to me. I'll keep giving you words.
Okay. So wean yourself off it. But couldn't it leave a scar? Doesn't the body get used to different chemicals? Like, for instance, they say the dopamine. They say if you take cocaine, according
Yes.
to what I heard from Zig Ziglar, who I got to
Yeah.
interview long before he passed away, he said cocaine affects the dopamine in the center of the brain, and they don't know if it's the first time you take it or it could be the 3,000th time you take it. But if it closes up this gland in your head, you will never know happiness again without being drug induced.
That's scary.
Well, actually, I would argue with that. I would say a lot depends. Everybody's bodies are different and everybody reacts differently.
Yeah.
Certain substances are really addictive. Cocaine happens to be a stimulant that is really addictive. However, people can do recover, but a lot depends on the person's motivation.
How about the long-term effects of alcohol? I've known people,
Alcohol,
I've known
yes.
of people, I've been told this, I'm not sure that I know somebody, but that they have wet brain. And this is where somebody is, you know, you're not going to be able to come back completely from that.
Alcohol is honestly one of the worst drugs that anybody,
And yet it's legal.
it's legal.
So maybe we should legalize marijuana. Would you rather have somebody out there, at least, you know, somebody might be driving slow going, hey, man, I just want to go for a ride and buy some brownies somewhere at the local
Right, it
convenience
just does
store, man.
stimulate.
Sir, why are you driving 2 miles per hour? Oh, officer, I'm just going out to get some brownies and taking my time, you know. You know what I mean? If people aren't going to smoke marijuana and rob banks, you know what I mean? They're not. And you know one thing about marijuana? I went to Woodstock. We had 500,000 people on marijuana. There wasn't one act of violence. You know what I mean? You get 5 people together drunk, and you're going to have
That is so true.
a
Actually,
fight.
you're right. I mean, you were completely right. More people have a tendency toward anger and aggression under the influence
Why?
of alcohol. It's just the source of the results of the drug. Marijuana tends to sedate and relax more. But you brought up something that's totally different, and that is the consequences of driving under the influence. So even if marijuana were to be legalized, it doesn't mean that there still shouldn't be stipulations and legal consequences for driving under the influence, just as there is for alcohol.
Well, but how do they detect it, you know?
Well, they can easily detect it. Marijuana
Judge, he
stays
had
in
an
the-
Judge, he had an inappropriate desire for brownies. Yeah, it's a telltale sign. We caught him. He was coming back from the 7-Eleven, and he had 42 packages of brownies,
Well, I do not think
2
we-
containers of vanilla ice cream,
And the hostess.
yeah, and some Hershey bars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they can test it in the body, and it stays in the body for
Really?
up to a month, so
Yeah.
it's easily testable. So
Yeah.
that creates another problem.
I
All
don't,
right. What?
I don't know a month. I had to tell my reporters before they did the drug test, stay off for 3 weeks at least.
Stay up for 3. All right, we got to take a little break, and we'll be back. Yes, the first round is over, heading into the second round. This is the Mayor of the Airwaves. Today's broadcast brought to you by Center for Advanced Eye Care. Five Eye Doctors that genuinely care about your eye care. Dr. Mallon, Dr. Snell, Dr. Katz, Dr. Godadaday, and Dr. Brannigan. Center for Advanced Eye Care.
When it comes to my eyes, or the eyes of my friends and family members,
22 veterans a day commit suicide.
Okay.
Prozac,
we can
alcohol.
talk about suicide and veterans if you want to, we can. talk
Somebody
about-
just texted that there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, we're off.
Mhm. You calm down.
I can't hear.
Breathing helps, Rhett. Taking long, slow breaths.
So is there some way that we can get her tested for the headset before we go on air?
I'm going to do is everybody has to be in their seats when we're in the news.
That's a good
And I
idea.
will test headphones and mics.
That's a great.
That's what I like. A dictator. Take over, Mr. B.
Are you sure?
Yes, and he's gonna come and run for the presidency too.
You, everybody in the studio during the news. You won't hear the news, but you will hear your mics and you'll hear me.
Okay.
Now I think that's a great idea. New rules, including moi. We're all in here during by the beginning of the news, because the news only lasts 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Well, this one will last 8:30 will last to 8:33. So your guests are already in there, but the 8 o'clock hour we come back about 8:06. So get in there at 8 o'clock and we check it all out.
Now, did you ever hear of Herb Oscar? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Rochester, New York. I was born and raised. Let me get through this breaking into the news.
Herb Oscar Anderson was the big guy. Where are you from originally? Indiana?
I was born in North Dakota, raised in San Francisco.
Really?
Oh yeah, a lot of good friends in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great city. Great
Yeah, they want to be better friends, too.
It is a great city.
Yeah, it is a great city.
It is a
I
great
love
city.
it.
Home friends from San Francisco?
Francisco's a great city.
So I almost said Francisco.
But Iris can
San
talk.
Francisco. Francisco. Oh.
Oh yeah, no, Frisco they say, but you don't say that because we're important. It's San Francisco. But Iris can do depression, can do anger, she can do stress. How do you deal with stress?
Why don't we go down to San
That's one way.
Francisco?
Some of their
Where
best
the land is
surprises
cheap
were out there.
and the whiskey
I didn't know
low.
Well, some people
Why
follow their
don't we
very I said, just
go
relax.
down to
He's in control. He'll take care of
Mexico?
it.
Yeah, like it's the unexpected, not knowing what to expect. That's what creates the
They have a
anxiety
great
for
song in
me.
San
Yeah.
It's not
It's chicken
if I
fucking time in
and that's just
Petaluma.
because that's who I am. You know,
Yes,
I like
Petaluma's
to
right
be
about
there.
Fucking time
So-
Petaluma.
I'll go with the flow.
I'll get there later or sooner.
Go with the flow.
Fucking that
It's fine.
chicken in Petaluma.
I do love it.
It's chicken fucking time in Vero Town.
No, we had the Smothers Brothers. They're from California, and they would come all the time to San Francisco before they were famous, and they would sing that song. It's chicken plucking time in Petaluma.
Mr. B. It was B. Mr. B.
Mr.
Want me to tell him we'll be right
Just-
back?
We'll I was just going to tell him to. Oh, that's. Now I
I
don't
only
have
had
anything.
15 seconds to fill.
All right.
Do you have anything on here?
Nothing.
Okay, just as long as we are able to hear it. That's my only.
Not a dog. Quiet.
Okay, so I've been here 4 weeks, and now we're gonna take control.
Good.
Make sure all the guests, you come
Okay.
close to the microphone,
Are we
speak into the microphone.
Oh, am I close enough to?
No,
Am I speaking
You
into it?
need to be
Because-
closer. No,
is
no,
there
don't
any-
mess with the
Can we
mic.
move it to
Don't
us,
touch
or
the
do I need to move to it? Okay.
Yeah, there.
Thank
You gotta get
That
closer.
would
Just
be-
lean in a little bit and talk right into the
Okay,
mic,
I
okay?
wasn't sure.
You
It's
know how
hard
to do that. And the headphones, during the news, you won't hear any headphones,
Okay,
but that's the time for us to check, because you can talk into the mic and you'll hear yourself, and I'll talk to you and everything
okay.
else. And I can even play
Okay.
music, that way you can tell,
Questions for
Okay.
Iris.
okay?
Some questions for Iris, if you like.
Why and how did you become a clinical psychologist? I recently read The Black Widows by Michael De Silvia, and he has a character in his novel, which is now a New York Times bestseller, saying that people with leisure time to be anxious.
If everybody puts their headphones on,
We
I'll
don't
tell
have
you what I mean here, because I can turn your mics on, you can
Yeah,
talk,
but
and
the
you won't be
others-
going over the air.
She has some points.
Yeah, well, mine
Yeah,
mic,
right,
my mic
yeah.
definitely needs to be a whole lot louder than this. Is this the way I just sounded on the air? I can hardly hear. There, that's much better. Can you hear me better now, folks?
Yes, yes.
I wasn't sounding good before, though, was I?
Oh, you always sound good.
Stanford is a kiss ass. Saying nice things. Stanford is a kiss ass.
Yeah, you know.
Hey.
I have to get some water. I gave some to everybody else.
Oh, you could have taken mine.
Do you want me to get your water for you?
Are we on?
No.
No.
A
No, we're
lot
not.
of news, huh? A lot of news. Yeah, I can hear.
Check.
must be almost going to be on now. Right?
Stanford was a man from Indianapolis, came to a Florida town.
The tide is in. Whether it be a special event, romantic dinner, or a great night out, it is sure to be a memorable event.
I wish you had a Stanford song, right? What could be the Stanford? What would the Stanford song include?
You'll taste the freshest seafood, locally grown organic vegetables, and the finest meats to create masterful presentations of both flavor and
He's a watermelon man.
the Tides Restaurant, 3103 Cardinal Drive.
He's a watermelon man, selling watermelon by the road. He ain't too young, but then again he ain't too old. He's a watermelon man, dark tan. I pulled my car over to shake his watermelon hand. Dignity and pride, his pay. Probably not too much, so they say. What really matters in the end, my friend, how kind were you back on earth when?
Isn't that nice?
That is pretty.
Yes. Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that white watch that everybody likes?
The gift shop at the hospital.
Really?
Here we go, into the open next.
Biblical Bill, saw him walking over the hill. Biblical Bill with a Bible in his hand. Biblical Bill is the holy man. Biblical Bill.
All right, it's another beautiful day in paradise. We have 3 oddities in the studio. Oh, 4, including me. I forgot. Okay. We have 4 oddities in the studio today. And one, of course, is Stanford Erickson, former White House correspondent.
Always
That's him
nice to
over
be
there,
here.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, nice to be with you, always.
And this oddity right here. Huh?
You would miss me, wouldn't you?
Yes. It is true. I'd come around the corner every day and go, "Where's her car? Where's her car? Is she here? Is she here?"
Pleasure to be here. Coffee's ready.
Really, it's a pleasure to be here.
Mhm.
When you go through a troublesome life, suddenly anything is a pleasure. Willing to put up with me, that's a telltale sign of something. We'll have to ask the psychologist. And here's a new person here.
Yes.
Her name is Iris?
Yes, Iris Madison.
Hi, Iris Madison. Where are you from originally?
Originally born and raised in Boston.
Boston!
Left there in 1978.
Okay, so
still have an accent.
1978. So let's see. You left pretty young.
Yes. I graduated high school, went to college up in Northampton, and
What year?
What year did I graduate high school?
Yeah.
1978.
Okay, so
Graduated.
that means you're a little behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking for my age.
Yes.
You want to know how old I am.
She's in her
I'm
50s.
Getting older.
You're in your
I'm
50s.
a little, yes. We won't go. We're on a radio,
No,
right?
Boston. Yeah. Well, they say I have a face for radio. Boston's a nice town.
It's a nice town.
Suddenly I went to Boston when I was like 14 or 15. Anyway, I went up there and I got inducted into transcendental meditation. And you had to bring flowers for the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and then they I don't know what they do. They decide on a what do they call that thing that you focus in on? It's like a certain sound or something. A mantra.
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 Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. My mantra was mantra. Mr. Palmer, we don't want you to forget it, so it's mantra. Mantra. No, no. But actually, I was watching Sunday morning CBS,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a conservative reporter on there, and he said he's never, ever believed in meditation.
Mm.
But he said, here I am doing a report on the benefits.
Mhm.
Scientifically, they now know.
Yes.
If you'll just go, okay, everybody out there now, if you, unless you're driving your car, don't join us, okay?
Yeah, right. Definitely don't close your eyes.
Let's all close our eyes in the studio. We're going to close our eyes,
Mhm.
and we're going to focus. I want to tell you that this is Swami Rhett, Swami Palmer, and I want to tell you we're going to learn to breathe in the prana, the life force in the air. Now everybody slowly breathe in,
Mhm.
slowly breathe out, to the point where you focus in on the breathing, just the breathing. Let all thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow fade away. All thoughts of this afternoon, just now. Be in the moment, mindful of this moment. Be present. Breathe in and breathe out. Now that's what you're supposed to do. Now they say there's conclusive evidence now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I opened up my eyes. You all had your eyes open. You're
No,
staring
I
at
was
me.
closing.
You can't fool the teacher. I opened up my eyes, and your eyes were looking straight at me. I got a video. We can rewind.
Well, you
So-
have to admit it is a little difficult to focus on your own breathing when you're on the radio. and
Why not?
Because I'm not sure everybody can do the same thing at the same time. There needs to be a process, I think.
Well, I used to think, I became a Christian when I was 29, and I thought, like, when I got my first massage at like 35 or 36, I thought that shouldn't do that. The Bible says, don't be quick with the laying of hands on anybody. That actually means to bless them for a calling they have.
That's right.
But if you get into those circles, you start taking everything literally. It's like it can be a little dangerous. I became a little religious. I had my born again experience, and then I became very religious, and I hung out with some really wacko extremists, and you got to watch out because and let this be a warning across the airwaves. Don't ever let anybody from the pulpit lord it over you. The Bible clearly says, no one shall lord it over God's inheritance. People are there Jesus didn't lord it over people. He washed their feet, which was the lowliest job. I think it was even lowlier than a what do you call it? A guy with the sheep, shepherd.
Shepherd.
Mhm.
So he said, the greatest among you shall be the servant of the rest. So let that be a warning. It says in the scripture, let no man lord it over you. Now, does that mean you shouldn't be humble and take advice? No. But it means don't let anybody oppress you. Don't let anybody dictate to you. If you are under the thumb of oppression, get out of the situation. Because the Lord says, no one shall lord it over God's inheritance.
Not even a wife?
No, we're not going there.
Won't go there, right?
No.
That's something psychologically we could talk about for hours, probably, right?
Well, we
Women
can talk
and men.
about all these issues, but let's go back to the breathing and the meditation.
Yes, the breathing and meditation.
Just because you mentioned that first.
Yeah.
Alternative approaches do help people that have been proven to be helpful to people that are suffering from depression. As much, in some ways, it depends on the person, as much as psychotherapy or medication.
Really?
So
How about walking? They say walking is a great antidepressant.
Well,
or exercise.
Yes, I think any movement of the body physically
Really?
to stimulate the circulation and get
Mhm.
blood flow to the brain is very important for depression, because depressed people do not get enough oxygen in certain areas of their brains. And so any kind of movement or any kind of blood flow is good. So if walking it's great. I mean, it depends on the person's ability and interest and and really motivation to do it. But yes, I think it's any kind of exercise. I'm an advocate, strong advocate of anything.
You know what's really weird about getting older? is there was a time when I would have been like too old to even date you. You would have been a young lady, young punk. And here she is in here talking about stuff, you know. We go through life, and then do you have any children?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
so you know what it's like to have a child who suddenly you're changing the diapers, and next thing you know is they're talking about quantum leaps and algebra at the age of 21. You realize this child knows things that I'm never going to know because
Definitely.
you divert, you go off.
Right.
I mean, there was a time, right, when you would have been like, it would have been illegal for me to go out with somebody your age. So
Well,
it's really
exactly.
weird.
Our society has changed a whole lot.
No, no, no. No, that's not my point. My point is that when we're little kids, like, how old are you, Stanford?
77.
Okay, and I'm 63. So how many years older? 73, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're like 13, 14 years older than me?
At least emotionally.
Hey, hey, watch that stuff. I resemble that.
I know.
But there was a time. Are we friends?
Yeah, and
We're friends, but I mean, kind of like more. I mean, you are sort of like mentorish, you know. So the years do put you, you know. I listen to your advice, so it's not completely
well,
even
I listen
Steven
to your.
friends.
I think it's pretty. We're peer level.
Yeah,
Even peer
but that's
level
what's funny is it squeezes. There was a time when you would have been the professor, because I can remember when I was 20, I had a 30-year-old professor, and he was old.
Yes.
You know, I remember walking along nervously on the campus one day, and we were talking about success, and he was my English, my favorite subject, you know, writing, literature, and all that stuff. And he says, "Well, those who can do and those who can't teach."
Yes.
And that's an old saying. Now, I'm not sure if he had a bad self-image. It immediately made me think. I knew he was writing books, but he said, "Those who can do, those who can't teach." And that is an old saying we've heard. But at that time, he was my elder. He was Mr. Mullen, and I remember his name. Walking across the college campus, and I had, you know, very much respect for him, and it was Sir, Mr. Mullen. Now, 10 years means nothing when you get later on in life.
No.
So
You
you're
know.
talking about age differences and
Yeah,
being
how
able to connect.
they kind of disappear as we become older.
I think it depends on how. Yes, I mean, I think it's great that if people interact with people of different generations, it doesn't
Yes.
always happen though.
And you know what
So
else we miss? We go into school. Do you remember did you go to public school?
I went to public school.
Okay, I went to public school. Did you go to public school?
Yes.
There was a divorce. I ended up being sent away to a private school. But before that, I was brought up in public school. And you know, you got Yuri Lobotin, and he was the Russian kid, the tall Russian kid, you know, who anyway. And then you got and who knows what he's going to grow up to be. And then you got the little Dreyfus. Dreyfus, his dad was a doctor. He grew up to be a doctor. And then you got this one who grew up to be a doctor. Then you got this one who his dad was worked at the Salvation Army. Then you got this other one who was a janitor, and his father was a janitor, and he was probably going to be a janitor. And you know, so you have all these different groups, and you learn from each other and different viewpoints because, you know, we try to say, oh, this person has an IQ. Well, now they find out there's a whole new thing called an emotional IQ. And it's been very unfair to the creative people
Right.
because you've got well, they're an intellect and they're not. And it turns out you've got guys like Steve Jobs, who didn't graduate from college and ends up changing the world. You've got, who's the guy that started Microsoft, the richest guy in the world?
Oh, Gates.
Gates.
Mhm.
He didn't go to college.
No, he went 1 year and dropped out of
Yeah.
Harvard.
And I'm a high school dropout. Then I went back to school. Of course, there were family problems, and so that precipitated that. And I was put in a section of town where the people didn't even want to learn. They were throwing spitballs. The science teacher is pressing the button to change the slides, and they're all throwing spitballs. I realized all she is just a babysitter. I don't want this.
Mhm.
I was like 15 or whatever, 14, 15. I wanted to learn. I was thirsty and hungry and reading books and stuff. I walked right down the street, right out the street, and I wouldn't refuse to go back. Judge said I was incorrigible, but then he allowed my parents to send me out to a private school.
Mhm.
But, you know, so who knows? And then later on got my GED or whatever it was because I
Right.
left that school too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, so it's not necessarily a telltale sign. Then you've got other people like, you know, that's one nice thing about being a talk host is I have a lot of highly educated doctor friends that come in here.
Right.
And we actually become friends. I mean, they call me on weekends, and I call them. I have their back numbers, their cell numbers, their home numbers, and I'm going. If they only knew who this joker was, they would. You know what I'm saying? But it's a great balance. And I think we sometimes get sequestered in our little groups, You know, it's just like Christians. Christians get born again. You're a born again Christian.
Yes.
Okay. They tend to go, oh, well, now you're a Christian, and they start getting, they start getting this thing. Praise God, hallelujah, praise God. Yeah, we got the club, man. You got the vernacular. Okay, hallelujah, amen. John 3:16. Oh, you're in, baby. Okay, let's go play tennis together. You're in the club, And if you're not, you're out. You're out. We're saved, and you're not. You remember all these when the Catholics, they were the only ones going to heaven. Then you got the other guys over here, the Presbyterians think they're the only ones going to heaven.
Right.
And they got the Church of Christ. I remember Mimo and I going out to this church at 33rd, and they don't sing with instruments. They sing, but no instruments allowed in the church. And she really believes that everybody else is going to hell that doesn't go to the Church of Christ or the Christ Church, whatever the name of it is,
Right. And
all
we
these
are,
separations.
we are a very diverse country, so there's a lot of great people. You're talking about. You can learn from all kinds of people and accept them, and that's part of what I think is really important, that we all kind of listen to everybody's stories and understand it before we make judgments.
Do you have grandkids yet or no?
I have one biological daughter who's 30 and married, no children yet, and I have three stepchildren and 5 grandchildren.
Because I had two young fellows from here last night trying to help me with some computer stuff, and every time I get around somebody young, I learn something new about the computer or my iPhone. Remember when you were a kid and you go, hey, what's this latest song? And so because of peer pressure, you'd listen to it. And, that's all these kids are like listening to rap. I don't know about you, but I do not like rap. I don't understand rap. And they're talking so fast. I go, if I was 14 again, would I be able to actually understand what that guy's saying?
Probably.
Yeah, I
You
think
think?
if you grow up in the culture and you associate with it, I think it's the language.
Well,
It's the communication.
who's let down the guard, though, that would allow misogynistic songs that put down women and degrade women and say women are inferior and call them hoes, instead of whores, hoes, and all this stuff. And then they put down cops. And there's actually been people who've gotten out of the car, listened to a hate cop song, and they've gotten out and shot a cop or gotten shot themselves. Well, what do you think about Madonna saying, hey, I'd like to blow up that is against I can show you the section of law. She should be duly arrested. Somebody's screwing up by not having her arrested. I think we ought to get together. Black lives matter, white lives matter. How about the president's life matter? And it's against the law to say you'd like to blow up the White House. And inflamed, it's against the law for me to go into the Majestic Theater and call it fire, fire. That's against the law.
No one has ever taken Madonna seriously, ever. So why would you take her seriously this time?
Because what she's done now is because of her position, she has whittled down again a barrier.
I know.
And that means other people are going to step through the crack in the wall now. And now you won't be able to arrest somebody who says, I'm going out, I'm going to kill the president.
Well, even when she took the name Madonna.
I don't care about her. I don't care.
No, that was an insult.
It doesn't matter.
That was an insult too. She did that.
Yes, that's true.
But we shouldn't judge other people because everybody's out there using their impulsivity to make statements that are to other people offensive, and that.
I don't care about offensiveness. That's a threat that I want to
Well,
blow up the
even
president.
even threatful. I mean, that's people.
Well, then we're going to have some guy saying, "Hey, that little sissy boy over there who has feminine qualities, I'm going to break his neck and put him on a fence, like they did out west, because he's a poor little homosexual boy who has a leaning towards boys, and he's a feminine and tender person, and they kill him and put him on a fence. Is that going to be legal too? So he can say that? Hey, I'm going to go out and kill little homosexual boys. I'm going to go kill the president. Now, where's the line in the sand, folks?
Yeah.
It's wrong. Wrong is wrong. Madonna should go to jail.
Iris Madison is here because she's going to let us know what our problems are.
What our problems are. Actually, I'm going to ask all the questions, and then you're going to.
Why don't you take over this?
Yay! Mr. P agrees with that.
Mr. B? All right, so go ahead. So she's a Deflating Mr. B. That's a deflating Mr. B. Okay, so why and how did you become a clinical psychologist? And what is a clinical psychologist?
Well, actually, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, which is very similar to a clinical psychologist. The difference is in the schooling. There's some minor differences, but basically, I can do the same thing as a clinical psychologist, which is provide psychological and psychosocial assessments, help people deal with any of their problems, and provide interventions for them. The only thing I cannot do is prescribe medications
Okay, so
for
you go,
people.
and when I think of you're a social, what do you call yourself?
Social worker.
A social worker.
Yes. Now
That
you,
means like if I'm lazy, poor, indolent, or if I'm mentally incapable, or if I have some sort of a disability, you come and see me to make sure that I'm legitimate to receive my food stamps.
well, that's what people traditionally have defined social workers as,
Okay.
but social workers do provide most of the mental health services in this country. We are the largest in number in terms of mental health professionals providing.
So what do you do on a daily basis? What do you do?
Well, right now I'm teaching it. Right now I have been teaching. I'm an adjunct professor at Indian River State College, and
Okay.
I am starting a private practice here in Florida. I have recently moved here full time and from Maryland,
Oh,
right near Washington, D.C.
well, lucky you.
Yes, very diverse
You're not
area.
going to run out of patients there.
No, I didn't. I did a lot of private work, but I don't think I could run out of them here either. But it's a smaller population.
Especially now with Trump being elected. I mean, sometimes I'm waking up going, I think I'm starting to get scared like the liberals. Those poor people, I want to apologize. I'm sorry if you're fearful. I'm starting to get that way myself. Like, okay, what really is going on here,
Well,
when is he going to start acting presidential?
Well,
I'm going, oh my God, we went from Obama to this,
Well, there is something to be said for depression and what's going on politically in the country right now, because there's a lot of chaos and change and uncertainty, and we have to deal with transitions and crisis in our own personal lives. When it extends beyond to the political realm, a lot of us are either indirectly or directly affected by it, and it has interfered with a lot of families and family relationships because it has created such division.
Hey, how many people have gotten a divorce because of a misconstrued attitude of an email? We're in a
very good
friends
point.
Have been lost.
Yes. We're talking about language and the way people insult other people, and this happens on a consistent
and you know what's
basis.
really weird? It's really personality. And I don't know how this happens. George Foreman was going to be a guest on my show, and he was. But before we ever spoke on the phone or anything, we were emailing back and forth or texting or whatever. And he had the same personality you see of George Foreman. He's got that great sense of humor. It was like coming through in his emails in just one sentence. And it's funny that, that's Mr. B. We now feel interrupted, ladies and gentlemen. We have to stop talking because Mr. B, the dictator, has taken over the airwaves and says we must take a break. So today's broadcast, Mr. B, is being brought to you by who? Who should we promote this morning?
Well, Advanced Eye Care.
Center for Advanced Eye Care. That's a good. How about Dr. Steinfeld?
Oh,
Who's an
Steinfeld.
exceptionally gifted orthopedic surgeon.
How about the dermatologist, Dr. Ian?
Dr. Tim Ioannidis, that's right, Treasure Coast Dermatology. You get a full body scan every year. It could save your life.
Dr. Kim Delina, I specialize, or I actually limit my practice to.
That's funny that Dr. Jones, the dentist, is advertising. I went to her, I remember, but I didn't use her, but I did go to her for a consultation. She's new to the area. She was extremely expensive.
Oh, really?
Very.
Hi, you calm down.
You shouldn't give me coffee before I come on air first.
It was ready.
You could give him decaf.
No, he doesn't need decaf. He needs the real stuff.
Oh, he needs it or he wants it.
Yeah, really. I don't think I need it.
Get that down. Everybody gets that down after that first cup of caffeine.
Marty is going to come in and take your seat, okay?
Who?
Marty.
Who's Marty?
Marty just arrived. He's going to come in and sit where you are,
Well,
okay?
that's great, because now I can change my uniform and go do my volunteer
Oh,
work
you're going to do that?
at the hospital. Yes,
Oh, good
so
for you.
I can go. All right.
Thank you, Beverly.
What time
So
is
are
it?
we, is it 9?
So
What
nice.
time is this? Hi. Oh, it was nice to, you have cold hands too, but that's all
Well, I
right.
was just.
She's not
Cold
in
hands-
a
I always
rush,
say
right?
cold hands, warm heart.
No, no, she's not in any rush. I don't think.
No, I'm not in a rush.
I have her book and I'll lend it to you.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
it's a
sure.
very useful book in terms of
Yeah.
widows and how they adjust. And I mean, it's really from a psychological point of view.
Do not, you see that bag there? That
Yeah.
has your whitefish salad in it. Now, I need the bag back, but you don't have to give it today. You can give it tomorrow, but that's
Well, I
cooler
have,
bag.
I have the cooler bag in the car.
Okay, so just don't let me forget if we
Yeah,
can remember
yeah,
that. I figured it was better here sitting than sitting waiting while
Yeah.
you play golf for
But I have a
hours.
cooler bag.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
so, yeah. So, how long are we doing this?
I don't know. He said
Okay,
stay around.
whatever.
He said
It's
stay
fine.
around.
Doesn't matter. It's fine. I have nothing until 4 o'clock. I have a hair appointment. Oh, I'm fine. So it's a beautiful day out there today. What a gorgeous day.
It started out cold.
It's cold, but you know, it's
No, but
fine.
no, that's going to be 80 degrees
It's
today.
gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous, and tomorrow it's going to be gorgeous.
It's going to be 85
I
degrees.
know. And then it's going to get cold. Yeah, so I'm not sure how, but I will, if I have a chance to just say that I do have a private practice and how to contact, I don't know how much more we'll actually get to talk, but I'll just, you
I'll
know,
just interject it.
I'll interject at
It'll
some
be
point. I
fine.
just don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube right now talking.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to his Facebook,
Okay,
you can see our program.
okay,
He'll
excellent.
run the program today,
Okay,
and you can watch it. You can
Okay.
watch how you do.
that's great, thank you.
I didn't know if he was trying to come on to you when he was talking about.
Right, I birded that one a
I
little
know,
bit.
I know, I know.
The key here is to try to find a theme, you know. Hi,
Hello.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Give you space.
No, on the theme.
You're the theme.
I'm Marty.
Marty, I'm Iris Madison.
Nice to
Nice
see
to
you,
meet
Iris.
you.
Hi, Marty. I met you before.
Yes.
You're,
Stanford?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Marty is in production and drama and
Yeah,
all
we do
sorts of
PR
things.
and advertising in town, and we have some
Oh.
concerts coming up. I don't know if you
But a lot of it's entertainment and speakers.
Oh, what, is that
Judy
the one?
Collins.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I did.
Oh, she
Wonderful
is
poem.
great. Isn't
yeah,
she?
Judy Collins is great.
She's great. And
This
you
week
have Al Stewart
Al
coming
Stewart
up.
is this
Yeah,
week,
I saw
actually.
that.
It's Friday night. The Year of the Cat, and
I
Yeah.
love that
But
song.
Collins is a very intelligent woman.
oh yeah,
Wow.
she is, yeah. And but this is a special show just about Stephen Sondheim. She's doing all Stephen Sondheim songs.
I saw one of his programs in New York, and it was the darkest thing I ever saw in my life.
He is not the easiest person to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so dark. I mean, it was brilliant, but it was so dark that after
He's
a while-
not Rogers and Hammerstein.
No,
He
no,
is,
I couldn't take it.
Oklahoma. Yeah, he
No,
is.
no, I couldn't take it.
Yes. Yeah. No, he
But
can be-
brilliant, brilliant.
So how many people, how sold out are you for the Al Stewart one?
Not at all. I mean, we have plenty
That's
of seats.
interesting.
Yeah. See, last year we only had 4 shows,
Okay.
and they pretty much sold out. This year we
Because
decided
there's
to do
so
a lot
many.
more, and there's so much going on in Vero Beach. I mean,
Right
people are
now, this time of the year,
people are looking for less to do, not more to do. I mean, it's just.
I really feel that you need to take you need
Yeah.
to take a break from certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just involved every minute. There's no
Too much.
downtime.
Too much.
So you gotta space it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
People want to go home and watch Netflix.
Okay, folks,
I know, I love
if
it.
you can hear me, put your headsets
Oh,
on.
keep
We're in the
close enough.
news. You're not gonna hear the news, but I will turn up mics and we'll do a mic check for the gentleman in the center that just joined the studio.
That's Marty. I can.
Mine's just a little loud, if you don't mind, Mark. Mr. B. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, sir. We will be going back to the studio at 9:07.
907.
Oh,
Oh,
the
Okay.
oh,
your
I actually could-
son-in-law or who's in the movie?
My son runs a theater on Broadway,
Yes.
and he is actually opening up in a few weeks, and we're going to go up for the opening. Yeah.
What is he doing?
Well, he's the manager of the theater, and they're doing a remake of Sundays in the Park with George, which originally was with Bernadette Peters and Mandy Patinkin.
Okay.
Oh,
And-
man, he's super.
Oh yeah, and this one is with Jake Gyllenhaal. Is the star.
Is this off Broadway or?
Oh no, it's right
It's
on Broadway.
On Broadway, where on 44th? Or?
It's actually part. It's an old show called the Hudson Theater.
Yeah.
And it's in it's part of the Millennium Hotel, but
Yeah.
it's one of the oldest theaters in Broadway. 1903, and the Barrymores, Ethel Barrymores performed there, and the original owners went on the Titanic, and the guy didn't make it, and the wife was one of the last people to be saved, and she came back, and she was the first female producer on Broadway, and but after a while the theater fell on hard times, and they closed it up, and they used it for other purposes, and Steve Allen's Tonight Show went from that show, which is one of my favorite
I've
shows.
met Steve
Did
several
you?
times before he died.
He was one of my idols.
Brilliant man, brilliant man.
So he
And
had
his
so many
nice-
talents.
Such a great heart.
Yeah.
And he took care of a lot of people. A lot of people don't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he was so talented. Yeah. So this is the first time it's going to be a theater in a long time, and my
That's great.
son is the manager, and really proud of him. He's done a really good job.
How did he get into it? Was he an actor? or-
Yeah, he was an actor, and he grew up in. We moved here. He was 13. We moved from Boston, and always knew what he wanted to do, and went to the high school and
That's
was in all the theater things. And we sent him off. We said, well, you have to have
Really
4-year, liberal arts. So we sent him off to Florida State, and
Uh-uh.
he said no. After one semester, he said, this is not what I want. And we found a 4-year performing arts
Nice.
school in Virginia, and that's
What was
all
the
he-
name of that one?
Shenandoah University in
Oh.
Winchester, Virginia.
Oh yeah, I love that area.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that.
That's where Kathy,
great.
what's the name of the song? Crazy. What's her name? Crazy. She's from that area.
Yeah,
Apple.
I don't know, but I
But,
love that area.
He always knew what he wanted, and he went from there to LA, and he ran the Blue Man Group in Las Vegas for a while, and his wife was in Mamma Mia. His wife's an actress. And,
Very artsy family.
yeah.
Well, it's
And my
a-
daughter also is in LA. She's a producer of video production.
For your hospital stay, your doctor may recommend home healthcare services.
And you're here today to talk about
Nothing.
Oh,
He just-
nothing.
We went out for dinner last night with Rhett and Barbara.
Oh, he's
sorry,
been here
that's-
many times. He's a good
Okay.
friend.
We went out for dinner with Rhett and Barbara last night. We said, come on, down and
Okay.
talk about the Academy Awards or whatever.
Whatever the topic happens
The
to be.
Academy Award you saw.
Maybe we could talk
They-
about
They
music and
made certain they
depression.
had every black actor known to man.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hollywood does that. I mean,
They do.
I don't take it seriously now.
Yeah, well,
That's the problem. I
neither,
just, I
neither
want,
does Donald Trump.
Open is next, Rhett.
We
You have
can
to come in closer to your mic than that.
What's that?
get closer.
That mic's not in good
That's
position.
what I was
You
doing.
gotta be
Ron.
close.
I think what? I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Your poem,
Here we go.
Rhett, your poem is very good in terms of a psychoanalyst.
Which one? One about the watermelon man?
No, the sad one.
Oh,
Let me get it. No Time to Fall Apart.
okay. Want me to read it?
Yeah. Iris would love that poem.
Okay, you ready?
What? I'm sorry.
This poem is for you that I wrote. He wants me to recite this. All right. So this is called I Don't Have Time to Fall Apart. I just wrote this recently. I could give myself to sadness. I could say it's the final blow. I could walk the street a beggar, asking for consolation wherever I go. I could choose drunken desolation or give in to this broken heart. But life is calling my name, and I don't have time to fall apart. I could paint my own Van Gogh, stand on the bridge and scream. I could sit with the night watchman and tell him about my broken dreams. I could call up a psychiatrist, ask her why love seems to depart. But life's calling my name, and I don't have time to fall apart. Life is far too short, you see, to chain myself to a yesterday. Time is rolling like a river, looks you in the eye, then slips away. Excuse me, folks. I could exile myself to an island like Napoleon Bonaparte, but life's breath whispers my name. I don't have time to fall apart. I could write 1,000 poems, think only of myself all day, forget about the food pantry, and star in my own sad screenplay. I could eat myself to death, chained to my shopping cart, but life is singing me its song. I haven't the time to fall apart. I could call upon the hangman. He'd gladly end my misery. I could stare in the rearview mirror, hung up on what used to be. The sun is breaking the horizon. The sea has begun to part. The voice of life calls me high on the highway, from the highway. I haven't got time to fall apart. And finally, the children's eyes are hungry. Strangers need a human touch. People need ears to hear. So many faces need so much. The naked need clothing. God's sweethearts need a fresh start. I'd like to indulge myself with sorrow, but I haven't time to fall apart.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I just wrote that the other day. I sent it to Stanford, and he asked me to recite it. So, yeah, you know,
That poet is not depressed.
resolve to move forward, right?
Right?
She's made an evaluation of it. She says
The poet's not depressed.
yes,
No,
you're mentally healthy.
no,
Sort of.
that isn't what I said.
Oh.
I did not, but not
quite.
suffering
What
from
did you say?
depression. Not suffering from depression
Uh-huh.
because depressed people cannot get out of that sadness, hopelessness, inability to function if there's truth,
Well,
depending on the level
Okay,
of
has
depression.
everybody in this room? Oh, by the way, we've just been joined by Mr. Paris.
Who
Marty
wants
Paris.
to
is doing-
talk to
Hello,
some-
Mr. Marty Paris.
How you doing, Rhett?
Good to have you here.
I
We
love
have-
the smell of Red Palmer in the morning.
Yes.
That's apocalypse now. Yeah.
Apocalypse now. Yes. We have Stanford Erickson here, former White House correspondent, and of course we have Iris. Your last name is
Madison,
and she is a clinical psychologist, social worker,
psychotherapist. if
and
you
she's
will.
also an adjunct professor
Yes.
at the local college.
In Indiana
And
State.
so has everybody in this room experienced depression at one point, do you think? I will tell you this, I never experienced depression until I got to be older. And I remember going to my friend who seems to have a more of a consistent problem of facing the challenge of being depressed. And I said, I'm feeling like I'm swimming in chocolate pudding.
Mm.
It's like,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
and I said, is that it?
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, I think, had the chocolate pudding thing.
You did?
Well,
No,
was
I
he,
made that up on my own.
he
I'm
was a
sorry.
spokesperson for Jello, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about pudding though.
I thought you were going to tell me that he used the analogy.
I was putting you
Yeah.
on, actually.
I was like,
Put me
okay.
on. Jeez. So anyway, chocolate pudding.
Right, but you asked a good question
What
about
was the question?
The question was, have we all suffered from depression at some point in our
I
life?
would say that I probably haven't. Obviously, you have good days and bad days, but I think I've been relatively very fortunate in my lifetime and have not had what I would call depression.
And I didn't till I was your age. No, actually, you're a little older than me. No, but seriously, I never did in my life either. Why do some people? We have bad days, but why do and can you imagine being so despondent
Well,
that you're
I think-
willing to take your own life?
Yes.
And I don't know yet whether, we've all known people who've taken their lives. Is that an act of courage? Is it an act of cowardice? It's certainly an act of selfishness. I mean, you're not thinking of somebody else.
Well, the first part of your question, in terms of depression,
Yeah.
First of all, you have to define what depression is, and everybody has a different idea in their mind of what depression is.
Uh-huh.
Once you've defined it, which is something we could talk an hour about, then you need to look at the level of depression and how long it lasts. There are some people that have pervasive clinical depression, and it depends on whether you look at the psychiatric manual as a definition, but if the depression is interfering with your functioning in life and your bodily, you're sleeping, you're eating, your relationships, your work, if it's becoming incapacitating you, then it is something that hopefully should be looked at. If it's minor, if it's episodes of feeling sad or hopeless, that's a different thing, depending on how you can cope with it and deal with it.
Abraham Lincoln said a man's about as happy as he makes his mind up to be.
But I don't think we all have control of our minds. There's a lot of studies out right now that show that there is some brain chemistry and changes in the brain that are involved in depression.
But
and other
when they
other
analyzed Einstein's brain
when did they
up
do
at
that?
Princeton, well, after he died.
Right, but how
Not
long
one.
ago? was
And they
asked.
said that actually in the bottom section, they said he had a great growth of brain tissue. And I
Mhm.
forget the conclusion. I mean, I'm not a doctor or a scientist,
Mhm.
but that wherever we focus and look at, I've been writing songs since I was 14. I think it's just easy. It's so easy that I don't even consider it a talent. Otherwise, maybe I would have pursued it because I figure everybody can write poetry, songs, and rhythms and melodic, melody like I can. But they can't. But that's because I started at 14. Now somebody in here may be maybe you're a mathematical whiz. Well, you decided you got a couple of answers right. We tend to like that, which we can do, right? And then they're very good at. People like golf; they excel at. I hate golf. I've had every opportunity. We belonged to 3 clubs when I was a kid. It was an affluent upbringing. I hate golf to this day. You know why? Because I suck.
Right.
I don't know if I told Stanford recently. I said I'd like to go out with you, but I said we're not going to keep score. And the best part of it is riding that dang cart in the morning, smelling the fresh air, hearing the birds. I went out to Sandwich a couple of years ago. I hit the ball up in the green, and guess what happens? The damn fox comes out and grabs my ball.
I've seen that.
You know?
It's a raccoon, but they have a raccoon.
No, this was a fox.
Oh, it's a fox?
Yeah.
Raccoon steals the ball too.
Yeah.
And any food you have in the cart.
But I think it's all about coping and learning how to cope with things, and some people are better at it than others.
Now,
And
you've never had depression. So what I'm saying is, if you think on negative things,
Mm.
maybe you can solicit depression. Whereas they say, like for instance, if somebody's despondent, find some reason to be thankful. Well, somebody right now, doesn't have water. I remember I got sick when I was an 8-year-old boy, laying on my grandmother's couch, and if you put even water on my lips, I'd vomit. I thought, if I ever get to drink water again, I'll never forget this, and I never have. I love water to this day. Have some right now.
I've known people that could not get up in the morning.
Right.
They just stayed in bed
Yes.
for 4 or 5 hours and just could not get up.
Yes.
Now, we don't want somebody to suffer guilt because they have depression.
No.
Sometimes it's out of our control.
I really believe that if someone is severely depressed,
Yeah.
we know now that there are chemical changes occurring in the brain. That does not mean that what that means is they don't have the energy systems, their limbic system. That's what the part of the brain that is affected by depression has shrunk, so that they do not have the emotional expressivity or the cognitive, the intellectual functioning to be able to talk themselves out of it. So sometimes
Hold on, we're being interrupted by.
no problem.
There you go. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
We're going to get depressed if that continues to happen. Mr.
No, we're gonna take it with a grain of salt. It's okay.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't
You know what? You know what? That's true. I've had to learn over 23 years. Going into I remember one show was so bad. I got off there. I thought everybody's going to call me and cancel my show. You know what? I'm not that important. Nobody called. You go on. If somebody doesn't like the show today and they tune to another station, they'll come back tomorrow.
Right.
Well, let me ask you, Iris, based on your knowledge and research, what percentage of our population do you think is depressed?
Well, actually, I did look at the statistics,
Yeah.
and statistics are misleading, let me tell you, because not everybody is assessed or diagnosed with depression. So they're probably underestimating the true statistics. But what they're saying currently is 1 in 5 women will suffer from depression, or 21% of the population, and 1 in 10 men. Now, men express their depression a lot of times differently than women.
Women are more apt to be depressed.
That seems to be the current
Well,
trend.
they're
Although I
married to
think
men. This is tough.
Plus, I think men will not talk about it, and men will
Yes.
not tell you they're depressed, even if they are. So that would
That's-
skew the statistics.
exactly, and I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. Is we're talking statistics that's just showing you that it is very prevalent in our population.
What about this thing where women commit suicide after giving birth? What's that all about? Why would God or nature make a woman depressed after she's given what they call postpartum depression?
Well, that's very real. I mean, that is so real, and a lot of it is
Chemical, isn't it?
yes. There's a lot of hormonal, because we're talking. You mentioned dopamine, and we're talking about chemical imbalance. That's only a piece of it, but clearly there are major changes that are happening hormonally, plus all the changes that are happening in your lifestyle, and you don't know the family's history, you don't know the relationship, you don't know who the caretakers are, you don't know, not everybody, I mean, everybody thinks we're supposed to be happy after we have a baby. That does not always happen, as we well know in our, in life.
Plus, I think a lot of women are told from the time they're little
Yes.
babies that they have to have children. And I think there's a lot of women that shouldn't have children. I mean, and now people are talking out about it, including Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
She's been talked about all her whole life. Why aren't you having children? And she's just as happy without them. I mean, she
Yes.
said not everybody needs to have children. I'm very.
Well, I figure God picks out once in a while, picks out somebody that they get to, because you lose your life having kids. You learn selflessness. Now, me, I'm one of the people that managed to get by without having kids so far. Now, I wish I had kids,
Mhm.
but but if I went back to 20 again, would I really have them? Like, oh yeah, I'd like to have a household full. Well, maybe I'm full of donkey dust because I'm very self-indulgent. Once in a while, I figure nature and God's got to figure out somebody said, look, we got to let this one go. Somebody's got to have fun their whole life,
Mhm.
I got to be a big kid. I'm 63 and I'm a big kid.
Right.
Amen.
Well-
Amen.
And the Jesus said, except ye be as a child, you shall not enter the kingdom of God. And they now know that a joyful heart, a merry heart maketh good like medicine. It says in the book of Proverbs. Solomon wrote that.
Right. But the
Way
point
ahead
I
of his
wanted to
time.
make is that
Yeah.
some women will have a child even though they probably didn't want it
Didn't
because
choose- and
society
wanted,
probably told them that
Or
they
it
needed
just
to have
happened.
it.
Sure.
Or
Just
it
like
just-
we all know, so what are you going to grow up to be? You got to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Mhm.
And the guy, I know somebody in this town, I won't say who it is. He's a very well-known dermatologist. He went to law school, became a lawyer. Another dermatologist in this town went to visit him up in New York City, went up in the big, what do you call it, skyscrapers. He walks through the door and says, hey, you want to go have dinner? He says, no, I got this pile, and there's all these piles. I got this, to that, to the blah, blah, blah. My friend here doctor gets in the elevator, goes down, comes back up again. As he walks in, he said, man, you are not happy. What's going on here? They went out and had dinner. The guy quits being an attorney, goes through full med school, becomes a dermatologist, comes to this town, gets married, and is now living happily ever after.
Mhm.
You got to find your sweet spot.
Mhm.
Well,
I say that, or I repeat that only so somebody out there get emancipated. If you're doing the first interview I ever did was with Tommy Lasorda, and he said, if you don't like what you're doing, get out of there. Because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing others. Like somebody cooks for you and they do it just for money.
Her name's Beverly.
But I mean, you go to a restaurant and
That's good.
that's
I
good.
love
Her name's
that.
Beverly.
That's good.
Do you remember being here?
Oh yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
With
I
Peter
know.
Sellers.
Yeah, that
Peter
was-
Sellers.
He plays the part of sort of a moron.
Chance.
Yeah, he's not very smart, and he works for this multimillionaire family. He's been there for years. Well, finally, the last one dies, and they say, you're going to have to go on the street. Well, there's this black lady there who does all the cooking. So, and she makes great fried chicken and stuff. But anyway, the family dies. They say, you got to leave the castle. It's a big castle, mansion castle. And so he ends up on the street with his luggage. He's never been outside of the castle. He was the gardener, And so he sees a black lady. He goes, excuse me, will you make me lunch? And then they bump into, I don't know how he becomes the president of the United States, because they say he ends up being interviewed on the street. And he goes, well, what about blah, blah, blah? And he goes, well, if you wait, the spring, the blossoms will come, and the tree will bear much fruit. Oh, he's a sage. He's a great guru. And he ends up being voted as the president. It's a really great movie, isn't it?
It's a very interesting book. Yes, also yeah.
Oh, you read the book?
Yeah, Jerzy Kaczynski was the author.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's written some.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we have
Okay.
Mr. Trivia here.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yes. I am very trivial.
Trivial.
That's why I'm on the show.
Right. That's great.
And you know, when I finish,
If you were anything but, you'd be in New York. What can I say?
when I
You
finish
wouldn't be in
writing the
Vero.
book, you work so hard writing the book,
Yeah.
and for about a week after, I'm not depressed, but I'm just down. I'm just because I put
Oh,
so much
so much
effort
effort.
into something, and then I'm sort of down, and I have to get out of that. And the easiest way to get out of that is to help somebody.
Yeah.
Be useful. To
I wrote a little song about this. It goes, chicken little can fall from the sky. I really don't care if that bird dies. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy. The The whole world can sing the blues, but that don't mean I gotta sing them too. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy. Old Abe Lincoln said clearly, a man's about as happy as he wants to be. There's a rainbow for every storm. Pack your bags now, baby, let's go. We're gonna dance like clowns at the rodeo. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy.
Very nice.
Very nice.
We should all wake up to that in the morning,
Yes.
right? It would make energize us.
Every
Well-
morning, start like that.
Well, Abe Lincoln said a man's about as happy as he makes his mind up to be. Is that true?
Well, we're assuming that someone has total control over their thoughts and behaviors
But what I'm
and
saying is,
feelings.
with what they found with
It's-
Einstein, can we physiologically change our
Yes.
brain by what we focus on? Right now, I'm sitting here going, "Oh, woe is me, woe is me." Find something to be thankful at. You know what? We live like kings and queens in this country compared to 99.99999% of the world.
Not
Somewhere,
everybody, but,
somebody in a little village, and I've been to these villages.
Yeah.
There's a village next door. They have a pipeline going to an artesian well. This town doesn't have it. So they look up at the other town like, wow, they're well-to-do. They can just walk down the street and get artesian. We have to go all the way to the other village to fill our buckets to get our artesian water.
Have you ever been to downtown Chicago? The north side, the west side?
I've been to Chicago.
Okay, next time go to the west side of Chicago and see what
Well, you heard what the president just said. Trump
Well,
says,
no,
he
I
says,
didn't hear.
if we don't straighten out all these murders, I'm sending in the feds.
That's the south side. That's the south side.
Well, we've got the west, the south. Yeah, you are correct.
All these children are being killed. Somebody who has a nobility has got to stop this killing, the senseless killing. How do we do that?
No answers.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a long question, and
That's,
if anybody had the answer, it would have been implemented a long time ago. I think it's multifaceted, and it involves a lot of different changes.
I'd like to know
on
why,
a lot of levels.
and I'd like to know why poor folks tend to rob poor folks in the same neighborhood. I mean, if I was poor, heck, I'd go out to the rich side of town, rob them.
They get.
Yeah.
I lived in the ghetto
Yeah,
for
I
about
worked
7
in-
years. They get fatalistic. They're afraid to go out of their territory. They're afraid to go out of their territory.
Mhm.
That's the truth. That's why they rob within
Huh.
their territory.
Fear can be very debilitating. I remember when I was
That's a
15,
good question.
a friend of mine, they say he was on LSD, committed suicide. We don't know. He was on a train going from Washington to New York, that fast train.
Mhm.
They said he was chasing a chicken on the train and fell off and he was killed. And I was told his name was Rich. I mean, this guy, they had a group, he and this other guy, and they wrote songs as good as the Beatles. They were phenomenal. He's gone. I went into a depression. I literally went in my room and watched TV for 2 weeks. Finally, my stepdad, he says, look you got to get out.
Yeah,
This is not good.
that's good.
And I vaguely remember this now. I mean, I'm a 63-year-old guy, but I remember it's like went into this deep depression on the death of my friend and had to get out. By getting out, then it changed me, of course.
Right. But the reason you got out was because of your stepfather, and I
Yeah.
think everybody needs that support. You need a support system, and people
Yeah.
that don't have it, those people are really in trouble because they're going to stay in that depressed state.
You
Well,
know,
that
I had a
is-
friend who committed suicide because we found out later on there were 5 of us. We used to go drink beers. All of a sudden, Jimmy commits suicide. What happened? I don't know how the other guy knew it, but he said, well, he confessed that he had feelings of homosexuality. Well, back in the 70s, that was like taboo. Poor guy. Now, if he
Yeah.
talked about it more and said, hey, man, you're okay. We love you anyway. We're not that way, but
Yeah. People keep in their minds,
Yeah, I know.
they're in there.
It's a shame.
You don't know what's going on in someone else's mind, and you can't always predict when someone is going to harm
Had a
themselves.
friend last year, drank himself to death. Beautiful,
Well,
handsome
that's-
young man. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. We're talking with Dr. Iris
Madison.
Madison.
I wish all my Hispanic clients used to call me doc, because I did a lot of immigration work, and they just always said doctor, doctor, doctor. So I was like, fine, I'm a doctor.
Doctor,
I'm not a doctor, but I can be one
Well,
if you want me to be.
We could start the Palmer University.
Dr. Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer University.
Trump can do it. You can do it.
Oh
No, no.
God, that's
Yeah.
true.
It's the Palmer University. Do you know that I was a professor too? Adjunct professor at
Really?
the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York.
And what did you teach?
Jingle writing. I used to write jingles.
I can see
I
that.
wrote
He's a
jingles.
very good jingle writer. Okay.
You probably heard this one went national. Coming home for the holidays. Give the gift that keeps on giving year round this holiday season, the gift of life, blood to the American Red Cross. Coming home. It's a mini sandwich filled with steak, onions and cheese. Ooh, it's great. It's a Pee-wee. Yeah, I love 'em.
I love that one.
It's a Pee-wee. Can't eat enough of it. What's a Pee-wee, mister? It's a mini sandwich filled with steak, onions and cheese. Ooh, it's great. It's a Pee-wee. Yeah, I
There's a
love
reason
'em.
that didn't sell.
No, it did. But he didn't go out of business. That was actually a jingle I wrote.
Got to hear this, right?
Oh, look. How about this one I wrote for Grandma Brown's baked beans? Big fat kid sitting in front of a tuba. Now, this never was used, but it goes like this.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Our beans ain't lean, 'cause we cook 'em lean. Grandma Brown's baked beans.
There's also a reason that didn't go nationwide.
Although it might now.
Yeah,
at this
I
point.
do that one. That's
Anything seems to
Yeah.
go these days,
There's a
unfortunately,
little
right?
tiny wiener.
There's no
Lives
filter.
in town.
No, no
Put all the
filter.
big bad burgers
I
down.
think you and I are on the
Hot
same
dog,
wavelength, yeah.
Charlie.
That is,
Well, my daughter is gay, so she was really concerned, and she did go to a march in LA this past week. And I have some problems with that. I mean, I think at least obviously I don't care anything about Trump, but at least give him a chance to screw up and give him a couple of months and see what he does. And so I think everybody should just stop and just all this nonsense and just.
Well, I had literally, there was a thing on TV, what was it? Oh, not Mel Gibson, who's the other good? George Clooney said, what is all this conflict? This is before Trump was inaugurated. He says, isn't he supposed to be running the country? I said, no, he's not even been in office yet. And then Beverly's saying all this bad stuff, well, he should be doing this and be doing that. I said, he's not even in office yet.
Yeah.
And then 2 days after he was in office, she's moaning. I go,
yeah, well,
come on.
Yeah, he's an idiot, and we all know it.
yeah,
but,
you gotta,
yeah.
well,
How many-
then
oh.
she comes from her, I
I know.
totally identify with what she's going through. So
Bonnie and Clyde can rob the bank. They can steal all my money. I'll still give thanks.
Okay, we're on the news now. We're coming back at 9:33 in about 3 minutes.
I'm gonna be. You like my song though?
Oh, I love that. The
Happy.
no, the happy
No.
nice. But I like the.
Do you
Yeah,
play
no.
do you play every
You
day?
won't do that. Huh?
Yeah. What do you think of my song, the serious one that he wants to do the fart one? Jeez, I write this song and he likes the fart one.
Well, I
Just
mean,
have you be serious.
I know, that's
He's a Mel Brooks type.
he's a
I love
master of Mel Brooks. I mean, I particularly prefer the other one to the fart one, but you know. I like both of them.
Al Stewart is a great guitarist, actually.
He's fabulous,
Fabulous.
and I do.
Oh, he's gonna be in
But
town.
I'm
Yeah, it's Friday night.
no.
Yeah, we got to talk about this.
Oh, yeah, I'll throw a little plug in there.
Yeah, we gotta throw a plug for the theater so people can go out and get away from TV for a night.
But I tell you, talk about happiness.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I went to Jamaica, and we stayed at one of these all-inclusive
Yeah.
places. And I walked into the kitchen. There was the most beautiful girl I had ever seen in my life. She was on her hands and knees scrubbing. You know, she was a Jamaican girl, and she was whistling, and she was the happiest person I've ever seen. But she was cleaning the
Hello,
floors
Mike.
on her hands and knees, and you know,
What's going-
there are some people that
That are
just
happy.
they're just happy. I
Yeah,
mean,
they-
and she was gorgeous. I mean, this girl
Yeah.
could have been a model or whatever and an actress. But this was her life.
Oh,
and
boy.
she was just content.
So
doing
what do
it.
we do? Call
So
them and
happiness
complain
really
or what?
is, you know, it's so different depending
It
on.
depends on like
A lot of
who
factors.
knows her genetics, her
Mhm.
family, her expectations,
Mhm.
her culture.
Mhm. Yeah, I was just
her
amazed though.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is amazing. So well, I
How
saw
long?
that when we were in Cuba, and we went into a couple. I had to. That's a long story. I,
We're
had to
still
go,
on.
I went into a couple.
Okay, hold on a
I
second.
speak Spanish.
Mike Curley says, where are you? Hello?
just were not
Okay.
what you would get
He's
from
not in
them.
the
They were
studio.
just really sweet,
Mhm.
giving, and
Yeah.
seemed very happy
Mhm.
with their very small
Their life.
environment,
Mhm.
which was certainly below
Okay,
the
thank you.
standards that you and I
Mhm.
would probably
Sure.
want, but it was clean,
Mhm.
and they were seemed to be good, I mean, just really, so it really
Yeah.
depends, and it's so individualized,
Yeah,
you
very,
know?
yeah.
So we can't define it, but we know certain things that certainly help,
Mhm.
I think,
Sure.
create it, but.
Mhm.
Indian River Walk-in Clinic was voted Best Urgent Care 2 years in a row. Why? Because it is the best. With great providers, convenient hours,
Because I say
great
it's the
location,
best.
staff that cares, Indian River Walk-in Clinic Miracle Mile has a
Also on American Mile. I like that one,
patient
actually.
satisfaction rate. Best part is Indian River
I
Walk-in
never
Clinic
went to
is
that one. I
moving
ended
to a
up at
brand
the
new space that
Sebastian. I
twice
went
the
to the
size just a
Sebastian
few
one
doors
that day.
down.
I had to go.
Yeah.
That was fine, actually. That was actually better. I mean, from what
Yeah, there's
I
several
hate
of
to
them
go to
around.
any of them,
No.
but you know, sometimes you just ended
Yeah.
up there on the
Mike
weekend.
just called and said
Especially
we're off
during
the
season,
air.
It's so hard to get an appointment with your regular doctor.
I don't know what he's listening to because I got it on the Bose. I
You
mean,
live here
this is, he
full time,
called
right?
me on the
Yeah, I have
phone. Where are we?
yeah.
100% of his focus has always been on helping you
Hmm.
meet your
Oh, you don't?
financial needs.
Yeah, I was
No, I
off.
do.
Oh.
I
My
do.
phone said it was off the air
It's
too.
on the radio in the kitchen too.
What are we doing? Are we on?
Is it off an iPhone? Are you listening on iHeart?
My iPhone was off. I was
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. We're off iHeartRadio. It's iHeartRadio. We're off.
I've been cleaning carpets at Vero Beach since 1983. I can clean your house, your business, your boat, your car.
Now, is your wife retired?
No, we both work together. Yeah,
You do. You both. Are you okay? You both do. Great.
yeah, it was mainly her business. I worked for a petroleum trading company, George E. Warren Corporation, for many years. And then when I stopped,
Stand by. Open is next.
Call Larry Hensley.
Which phone number for Larry Hensley? Calling Larry Hensley mobile.
mhm.
We're off the air. Check into it, okay? We're off the air on iHeartRadio. I just had somebody walk in the studio, okay? Yeah, we're off the air. And Mike just called in, Curly, and said we're not on AM or FM, but I don't know. We're getting it on the Bose in the studio, but Mr. Stanford Erickson just walked in and said you can't hear us on iHeartRadio.
That's right.
You're up.
Hey, you're up.
Hey,
Hey!
Hey.
Bonnie and Clyde can rob the bank. They can steal all my money, and I'll still give thanks. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy. Old Abe Lincoln said clearly, a man's about as happy as he wants to be. There's a rainbow for every storm. Pack your bags now, baby, let's go. We're gonna dance like clowns at the rodeo. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy.
I'd be even happier if you do that flatulation one. That was a good one.
So I used to write jingles for a living, and for some reason, Stanford Erickson is in the studio. He has a special affinity for the next one I'm going to do. We also
oh
want to
no,
welcome,
we
of
are doing
course,
that one. Oh my God.
well, we have Mr. Paris in here today. Good morning, Mr. Paris.
Good morning. I think happiness is overrated, actually.
And of course, we have Iris.
Madison. Yes.
Madison.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Good
As
name.
an
Originally
Oscar Madison.
from Boston,
Right.
and he's from Boston.
Yes, I
Yes, we-
detected the
Yes.
accent.
Yeah.
Yes, great city, and they're going to play in the Super Bowl again in a couple of weeks. Really excited about that.
Did you see Patriot Day yet? Anybody?
I did. I saw Patriots Day. A very well done movie, and I thought the best part of it. This is about the Boston
Right.
Marathon bombing.
Yeah.
Was how the various the FBI and the local police force and the
Right.
city and they all got together and worked together to figure out who planted the bombs, and it took them almost a week of looking at cell phones of people that
Amazing.
were there, looking at the different cameras on different retail stores and and eyewitness testimony, and it was amazing how they worked together to figure out what happened. It was really very interesting.
Yeah,
Good
it
movie.
really was. Another good movie is it was playing not didn't get much airplay in America, and it was called
Lion.
Lion.
Oh, yeah.
And so went to see it. Did you
Oh.
see it?
No, I went,
Okay.
I saw
Went to
Fabulous,
see
fabulous
Lion, and
movie.
what happened is a small swell of people,
Oh, I'd like to
like
see
Marty and myself, went to see it. And the greatest news happened yesterday. I turn on the news and I see ads. It's been nominated for Best Picture.
Ah.
So this little teeny tiny picture
it's supposed
that was
to be.
going to be
I
that they
know.
weren't going to give great distribution once
I
again
wanna see
popped up. I hope it wins. What a great motion picture! You know what other great motion picture? Have you seen the one about the three black ladies that
Yes,
go to
Hidden
NASA?
Hidden Figures.
Hidden
I saw
Figures.
it the other
I-
day. It's
I-
excellent.
I think it's one of the top 10 movies I've
It's
seen in my
so
life.
amazing.
I,
Yes.
of course, I'm weeping and crying, especially like when.
But
when-
laughing too. It had its.
Oh, it did.
Part of it had.
But how
its-
about when he takes the sledgehammer and he goes to where it says "colored only" for the bathrooms
Oh, that
and
was.
knocks that sucker down? I mean, if I started crying, I would have wept. I mean, the people would have looked around. Was that guy okay?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with him, because.
No, that
You
was
know, that kinda-
fabulous.
I mean, have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
It is
Oh,
so
you gotta go
good.
see it. What's it called again?
Hidden
Hidden,
Figures.
yes.
Hidden Figures.
Yeah, and
about these very
Fences is
intelligent
another
black
one.
women.
Fences is depressing.
No, I haven't
but
seen
speaking
that.
of it, but very
Yeah.
good.
But I
Very
think it's
well done.
interesting that last year there was a lot of backlash because there were not any people of color, or
Good.
and they were very upset.
Yes.
And this year,
We've had great-
virtually every category has lots of people.
Only
Minor-
blacks. Now we put out the whites. I think that's a little compensatory. Well, I think they did that on purpose. I
you
think
might be
they
right.
made all these motion pictures and look, next year they're not going to be able to ignore us. Well, look, who's the guy last year that should have been nominated? What's his name? Will, the funny guy?
Will Smith.
Will Smith the kid's a
Oh,
genius.
yeah.
Or he's not a kid anymore, but he's a genius.
Yeah.
That guy is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Look at, okay, how about the one about Boston? This is one totally overlooking. The best movie he's ever made, Johnny Depp, when he played Bulger.
Yep, Lady Bulger.
Did you see that movie?
It was
I didn't
so
see
good.
that.
I did see that movie.
Yeah,
It was
he's
excellent.
Phenomenal!
He's
He
amazing.
should have won Best Actor.
I know.
How could Johnny
I
Depp?
couldn't even believe it was Johnny Depp.
I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was so good.
No, but he did
No.
his hair, and
know.
he looked like.
He proved to me now that he's more than just, another interesting face that, whatever it is,
He's an
charisma.
excellent actor.
He really.
Another
is.
interesting movie that has Boston roots this year is Manchester by the Sea.
Oh,
Haven't seen it yet.
I did not see that.
Did you?
Excellent movie.
Uh-huh.
Very, very down movie,
Yeah,
depressing,
yeah.
but fabulous movie.
Down isn't always so bad, if I might say so.
No?
I'm working on a new book, and it's called "We Only Grow in the Valleys."
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, all our life, like, oh, I want to get this happy, and let's take grandma and grandpa and let's freeze frame them so they don't ever die. And let's take a little, like your little Dylan.
Mhm.
I love little Dylan. I want Dylan to be about 5 or 6 forever. You can't
As do
freeze
I.
frame him though. And we want to freeze frame. We want everything to stay the same. But let's say we could. Let's say all of a sudden you froze it right now. Everybody that's alive stays alive forever. Barring the river of life. Change is part of the river of life. And we don't grow when we're fat and happy. We don't. Hey, let's eat, drink, and be merry. You're not growing. But when you get into the what we were talking about before, whether it's
Right.
depression or it's a valley or it's a struggle,
Right.
the next time you're in that valley, just go, okay, this is the valley that you said you grow in. Here I am.
Well,
Let's
it
grow.
also does help you normalize your own feelings if you are. I mean, if you see someone else experiencing that, it does make you feel like you're less alone in the process.
You know
too.
what I think of?
And not that we can identify with fences, because clearly that's a different population, but still some of the feelings
It's
that
universal.
and some of the feelings that people experience during that in a different setting, in a different culture, in a different context, you can certainly identify with.
Mhm.
So the frustration, the anger, the sadness, the loneliness, very little happiness, if we're going to talk about happiness in that movie, Fences. I didn't see a whole lot of that.
Denzel Washington, he's another guy that's really smart. I saw him into this. Has nothing
He's
to do
a
with the movie.
he's a
They
great.
stopped him coming in on the red carpet recently, and he said, if you're not watching the news, you're not informed, and if you are watching it, you're misinformed.
Well, that is extremely true.
I think he was quoting Wayne. It doesn't matter who was quoting. It was really great.
Yeah.
And it
Probably-
is true in the state. I mean,
Probably
what's
Will
going on
Rogers.
with CNN?
Yeah, Will Rogers would say that.
What's going on with CNN? I'm the kind of guy that I like to believe, like, all my far right people hated Obama. I never hated Obama. And I think it was terrifying that they said, oh, Michelle, she's really a guy. And I mean, all these nasty, nasty things. But anyway, so what were we talking about? Because I went off, I diverged.
Well, you were talking about fact versus fiction and listening to, I don't know how we got into that, but how you get the real information. And there are ways to get the
What are you
facts.
talking about?
You started to talk
On
about
CNN. On
CNN.
Oh,
And you
yeah,
said
that's
that
it.
it
I
wasn't
honestly
true.
used to believe all these people. And I got to tell you something. I record an NBC, not MSNBC. And you know what? They've turned. They've gone over the edge. Now, you are a former White House correspondent. Today, they're not journalists. They blatantly are left wingers.
Well, they give their opinion,
Trump.
and they shouldn't. They should just be facts for the most part.
Yeah.
You know,
What has happened?
Well, I think that happens with all of the news
Yeah,
stations.
look at
If you're
Fox.
going to talk about MSNBC, please do not critique that any more than in Fox. Exactly.
Fox or CNN or whatever.
I mean,
Oh,
they
no.
all,
No, I watch them all because that's what I do. And MSNBC is absolutely the worst.
But you know what's going to happen?
They're
Some
the
young,
worst journalists
they are.
I've ever
Some
seen.
young entrepreneur is going to come up though, and he's going to figure out a way. I don't know how there'll be a wall or a line of credibility, and they will, like when I was in town a few years ago before reality TV just started. I secured realnews.com. I let it go. I should have kept it. We are all hungered now for real journalism. The search is on, and somebody's going to come up with a way where they sign a code of ethics, and this is it. You look at, well, how come you can watch? Do you watch BBC? I watch the BBC.
Yes,
I record it
watch
every night.
BBC too.
It's the most that and the Canadians. They have objective.
But see, not everybody's going to agree with you on this. I mean, seriously, I don't see BBC as objective. However,
You don't
no, I do not.
really.
I do not. But that's
Are they more left or more right to you?
they're more left actually, and I don't want to really go that direction, but I do not see them as let's talk about fact versus fiction. There are ways to find out the true facts, and BBC I do not believe has all the true facts, and they focus. It all depends on what you focus on too. If you focus on certain things, the facts your facts are going to substantiate your opinions, so you're going to skew the facts. So you really have to be more broad based and also look at like scholarly. I hate to use that word, but since you were a professor and I'm a professor too, you have to look at actually
You're
the
scaring
research.
people. I was an adjunct professor.
Well,
for a
I
very
am
short
an
time.
all right, but that's okay. But you are
Rhett was a professor. What kind of tales?
all
is
right,
he
but you
telling
did
now?
jingle songs. But whatever
Yes.
you did, you were working with
I
students
taught
that were
music
there.
jingle songs.
Okay,
Yes.
so you were still
I had a
there to
limousine
educate
pick up all my students. We went to a restaurant. We ate for free on the agreement that we would all write a jingle for the restaurant, whichever one it picked that they could use on TV and radio.
Hey, look at you taught students how to have creative outlets and enjoy them and relax a little. So
Yeah.
that's all positive.
Oh, but Stanford, now we have to defer here. Stanford wanted me to sing my song that I wrote for Grandma's Baked Beans.
Yes.
Grandma's baked
I
beans.
do want you to know this, that I did.
Marty said not to.
I did.
That's all right.
Please, hold on. a
I'm
second, okay?
gonna
Now-
mention.
He's leaving.
Now this I wrote. This did not make it to the air, but here goes. So here's what I saw for the TV ad. There's this big fat kid, and he's got a tuba, and our beans ain't mean, 'cause we cook 'em lean. Grandma Brown's baked beans.
I love it.
That's, you could
Now, actually, in this day and age of Grandma Brown's, they should pay me a fortune for that and use it. It would put them on top as a bean manufacturer. You
Without
realize
a
that?
doubt. Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
But they don't. Do they have the guts to do that? See, you got all these little people. You know. God loved the world so much that He sent His Son, not a committee. You get committees, and everything sucks. Think about it. Look at the government in New York City. We're gonna build a skating rink. They do it. It takes them 7 years. Trump, it's year 2. I'll build it. I'll build it because I can see where you're going to build it from my window up here, Trump Towers. No. We're going to build it. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I'll build it. I'll build the skating rink. No, no, Mr. Trump, this is the city. They're falling over each other's feet. Feet. 7 years go by. Finally, they relent. Mr. Trump says, I'll do it. I'll get it done in a year. He flies up to Canada. He brings down the specialists. They build a skating rink, and it doesn't take him a year. It takes him 4 months.
And he paid for it too.
Now,
Yeah, remember that part. He had a lot of influence, power, and money speaks. So yeah,
the
Well, he
point
got
being,
it
though,
done.
he got it done. Whatever it takes.
whatever it takes. I
Let's,
guess.
you know,
I
we
don't
need
know.
something, just like he says, you know, we're just going to sit here and let little babies be killed in Chicago. It's time to end the man. It's good for him that he came out. It kind of scared me when I read that yesterday. We're going to send in the feds. If Chicago doesn't straighten out, and they're not, we're going to send in the feds. And I don't know what he means by that, but, you know, it sounds like military law. But you know what? We can't just sit here as human beings and let people kill each
If
other.
they send in the feds, what they can do is that if someone shoots somebody, they can give them a federal sentence, and the federal sentence is mandatory, so it's a long time.
Mm.
Right now, when someone shoots somebody, they get a year. So that's why.
Yeah, that's what a lot of guys say. I don't know why I divorced her. I should have shot her. I'd be out by now.
That's right.
Well,
And
I
it's not
just
funny, really. It's really kind of
No,
very
it's-
sad. That,
Well,
you know,
just
it's okay. It's illegal to kill a baby in somebody's womb, but it's not. It's whatever.
Hey, Marty has
Yeah.
to talk about his show here.
show.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, Rhett
Right.
was at our last show. We had Felix Cavallari's
What
restaurant.
a show
It's
last
a
week.
beautiful morning.
That's good.
Great. How can I
Love
be
it.
sure?
How can
He
I
was
be
fabulous.
sure
He did a great
in a
job.
world that's
Moving on a
constantly
Sunday afternoon. But he had put on a fabulous concert. But this Friday, a couple of days from now, we have Al Stewart,
Year of the cat.
the Year of
I
the Cat,
love
Time
that song.
Passages,
Time passages.
on the border. I mean,
I
he's
know, we should
fabulous,
see that.
fabulous.
Nice guy. Gave me a
guitarist.
great interview.
He's going to get, yeah, he did give you a great interview, yeah, and he's a really nice guy, great guitarist.
Matter of fact,
it's gonna
Mr.
be a great
Beach,
show.
see if you can find my interview. Not right now, but the interview with me and it was 1 hour he spent with me.
Yeah, Al Stewart.
Al Stewart.
Yeah.
I did this before. I think you were under our employ, but we can find it because it was a really great interview. If I don't say so myself, but it was because of him. But
Yeah, but a little plug,
play
if you go on musicworksconcerts.com, you can buy tickets, and also to our upcoming shows, Judy Collins coming up, Kingston Trio. So
Where is this being performed?
this is at the Emerson Center on 16th and 16th Street and 27th Avenue. This is great. I love
Which
this.
is a
Keep on
great
asking.
venue.
he's walking gingerly because he knows. He goes, at what point is Rhett going to send
I
me
know.
a bill? No, but this is compensation for coming on the show today. It's okay.
Thank you.
Blatant. What is
It's
it?
materialism, yes.
Yeah.
Blame materialism.
The
That sounds like a Trump thing.
Hey, Judy Collins.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, I've interviewed. This will be my third interview with her. She came and sang at the Emerson Center last year, was it?
2 years
2 years ago. I gotta tell you, folks, you won't be disappointed. I can't believe she's still.
She's still got
I
that
told her
voice.
on the phone, we did an interview. I said, your voice ministers to me, and she goes, oh, I like that, ministers, because I guess she's not. You know, I know she's in recovery. I know her son committed suicide.
committed
She's
suicide.
been through a lot.
A lot of
She is
depression.
the one that discovered Leonard Cohen. So don't tell her. But come this interview, that's what I'm going to focus in. How did you first recognize the God? Hallelujah, hallelujah. You know?
I sat here when you were interviewing her, and I was listening. What a wonderful, and she is a very intelligent person.
The only thing that turned me off is we were at the Emerson Center, and we get to take pictures. You know, I love people. So we're standing there, and I put my hand on her shoulder, and she brushed me. Don't touch me. And Barbara said, "Well, there's some people that just don't want to be
Yes,
touched. So, you know, I have to." So I was hurt, and it angered me and made me dislike her. I thought, I'm never doing an interview with her again. But you know what? I got to let it go.
You don't know.
I'm
someone's-
touchy-feely,
Yeah.
and who knows? Maybe she was raped. Maybe there was an
there
abuser.
could have
You
been
know?
some kind of abuse or boundaries are very
That's what we
critical
can't
to
judge.
her. You can, yeah. I
Yeah.
She
think
has
that's
gone
the
under a
important.
lot of depression, I know
Yes,
that, and it's one
and-
of her mental health
Yes.
issues are her focal point.
But she
And her-
sings like a bird.
A lot of
Do you know how
people,
many people? 284 people sang "Send in the Clowns." It didn't succeed. It was on Broadway. It didn't succeed. She sang it, and it became a hit. You know what she did back in the '60s? Do you remember what song? Give me a little echo here, would you, Mr. Bill? Just a little echo. Okay, watch this. This is what she did. No instruments. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. You know, Okay, you can kill the echo. But anyway, she sang it and it became #1.
Remember, she was talking about she was with Dylan, and then the next morning she looked in the bed. He wasn't there. He was doing Tangerine Man. Remember, she
Yeah.
said
Oh
that.
yeah. No, wait a second. They weren't in the same bed. They were staying at the same.
Oh, is that so? I
Yeah, we were in the
misunderstood.
same bed.
Misconstrued.
Now that may have been true, but we don't know that.
That
to
was
be true.
John and Yoko.
She said they were hanging out at this place. So she went outside that morning. He was writing this song about a tambourine guy. What? Think about that song.
I think if you
One
look down
hand
the tape-
waving free, silhouetted by the sea. You know,
My-
hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me.
My
I'm not
remembrance
sleepy
would
and
be
there
on the
ain't no
tape. I
place.
think you'd see that. My
Stanford.
remembrance is pretty
Stanford.
good.
I'm singing, Stan.
Let's go back to the fart song.
Sorry.
I mean,
Right.
I'm gonna get Nancy to admonish you.
You
Right,
don't-
Nancy?
You don't have to.
I don't think you need. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you don't need to say that.
Wives tend to do that. Husbands, to their, you know.
I got to
that
tell you
happens.
though, after all of the deaths last year of some of our rock icons, a lot of people are naming their children after. I have a grandson. His name is Bowie.
Please don't tell me Prince.
No, not Prince.
Can I ask
Although
you
there might be.
something?
It
Hold
might be a
on.
Prince.
This Purple Rain song,
Yeah.
it says nothing. It means I've read the lyrics. Why did that? It never became a hit to me. I never heard it. All these years of living, I never heard that song. Why did that become a hit?
Purple Ring. I'm not
You know?
familiar with that.
Also, I had another guy on the show this year. I'm like, where are these gaps of things I missed? Do you ever hear the song called "Every Rose Has Its Thorn"?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, I never heard that
That
song
was
until
Seal,
I
wasn't
met the guitar player. Was on my show last year, and it was like, so I had to look it up. And it's like, every rose has its thorn. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, Purple Rain. What the heck was that about?
Well, there's a lot of songs that really the meaning is sort of not clear, but
There's no meaning to that thing.
Well, there probably is some.
I'm
There
sure there
is.
is,
We
yeah.
just don't understand it.
I used to
know
sing
what
it.
it
I
is.
was the guy that sang at the coffee houses, you know.
uh-huh.
You know, keep me searching for a heart of gold, you know, and I'd sing at all these. I was a regular at all these what do you call coffee houses at the colleges.
In New York,
And-
especially.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
upstate New York.
Yeah.
Down. Oh, yeah, I played the bitter end, the other end, Gertie's Folk City.
Mhm.
I'm the only guy in history who went to Gertie's Folk City, the other end, the bitter end, and what was the other one? There was another one, and I passed the audition at all three in one day.
Wow.
And a guy said, "Look, Paul Simon, Art Garfunkel, Dylan, nobody did what you did. That I passed the audition, and look how famous I am."
Well, you are. You are.
Not.
That's not true.
So, 1 minute to break to news. So, have we accomplished anything here yet?
I think we do, and I'm
We did.
very depressed right now.
First time in my life. First
But you'll pull out of it.
Yeah, no, this has been good.
No, stick around because we got a little more time to go. We're going to go outside of the news. Stick around. Anybody in a rush to leave? Can you stick around?
I think I have to go, actually.
No, you can't
I
go.
probably
I can't go?
We can't go till 10:30 at least. Come on.
10:30.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
We'll take a break. Today's
I gotta go to the
broadcast
bathroom.
is brought to you by CJ Cannon's, a restaurant with a beautiful panoramic view of Vera's Municipal Airport Strip for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. CJ Cannon's. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna give
What
you
did I
the
do? Did I do something
bathroom
bad?
for a second.
Yeah, when you take off the headset, it creates feedback.
Oh, is that so?
You always
know
wait
that.
till we're off the air.
Oh,
Yeah.
You told me that before. No, but I edited an interview that he did with one of your. Someone he writes movies and things like that.
who does reviews?
No, he writes scripts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my nephew.
Your
Scott.
nephew, yes.
He wrote Con Air and Devil's Daughter.
Okay, I found that Al Stewart. Unfortunately, it's 56 minutes, so I could throw it in at 10 o'clock and you'll be done.
Okay. We're gonna just play. We'll play Al Stewart.
Oh, do you want to do that?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, that'd be great. I'd love that.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. That's a good idea. Play Al Stewart. You got the whole thing, huh?
I got 56:23. I'll play the spots after 10 o'clock. Go right into that, and that'll take us to
I
11.
don't know how talented.
You're not going to play all the spots. Just play a few spots. It would basically be it'll be a commercial-free hour.
Well, do you
That's
write?
right.
Do you write a lot?
Well, I write plays, I write poems, I do everything.
And when you write like a play, or have you written a novel? Or,
I've written 3 books, nonfiction, because I was a journalist.
right, that's what you did.
Novels, difficult.
It's
Plays are
so
easy.
difficult to sit there and
Yeah.
and get
Well, it
something
just
in the
takes a
cage.
long time.
Yes.
Are you guys running any kind of an ad for Al Stewart? No,
Yes.
not yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's
Can you find the ad for Al Stewart so you can play it before we do the interview?
Oh no, I don't have it here. I don't have it here.
Oh,
I don't have it here.
you're not playing it with us yet?
Yeah, I did. It was in your last issue, I think.
No, I mean in the radio.
No.
We have a radio ad.
Spot. That's a spot, not an ad.
Writing.
I think we're done here.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're gonna play the Al Stewart interview.
Writing a play is easy,
Oh,
just
okay.
dialogue.
That's great.
Did you enjoy yourself?
A
I
novel,
did.
you got-
Thank you.
Kind of
Hemingway
jumping
said-
around, but
That's
The
okay. I
dialogue's easy.
really
It's putting
appreciate
the
it.
things around, the
I'd
bricks
love to
around,
come back.
come back
next
again,
time.
yeah.
Yes,
It's
if you
absolutely
do you want my
correct.
card or
So
I know
plays
you
are
did.
easy, just
I'd
dialogue.
be happy to give you a card and
Yeah, but you gotta get in your
thank
head
you.
all the
Yeah,
different
you have
people.
you missed
So
your
that's
avocation.
yeah.
A
Well,
total musician.
So the flow is-
Once you visualize a person, it's
You're
pretty
very
easy to
good.
do it.
Oh, thank
You know what I mean?
Excellent.
What I like is
Let me-
after
yeah,
you're
let me
writing,
get
is
my
I get
glasses. That's what I can
actors
see. That's the
just to
only
read it,
problem.
and then I know how to tighten the
Read
words.
through, yeah.
Maybe I could be the
Because I
first
know
old
this
guy to
word
make it.
Doesn't work.
I think
We
you
get
do.
somebody to
Because
sing my
I
song.
love when an actor do it
You
because an
definitely
actor.
could. You're
that's
very-
how-
you're
that's how
very
that works.
good. Excellent.
I write poetry every day, and I sing
Actors are
songs. I
just
write songs
spectacular.
every
I
day.
think that's
A little
wonderful.
obsessive.
Really nice
Creative,
meeting you. Yeah.
but obsessive people.
Okay, you got about a minute if you want
Her
to promo
husband's
the
an
Okay,
Al
we're gonna
Stewart.
promo. Okay, that'll be great. Tell us when.
Coming up right after this ad.
Where did you live in Boston?
Focus.
Brookline is where I grew up.
Marty, you gotta focus. You got 1 minute to promote this thing.
Oh, okay. Come on.
Yeah, you don't have to stay. It's up to
I'm
you.
done.
Okay. Yeah.
What is-
Just Marty and I.
Get ready.
Hey, this is the mayor of the airways. We found the interview with
Al Stewart?
Al Stewart. Year of the Cat.
Yeah, and he's just
Time
fabulous.
passages.
On the border, yes.
We're going to play that
Nostradamus.
right now, but great interview coming up, ladies and gentlemen. But you can come see him live and in person right here in Vero Beach, Florida this Friday night.
Friday night, January 27th, 7 p.m. at the Emerson Center, musicworksconcerts.com, or call 772-778-5249 for tickets.
Tickets are still available. That phone number again?
778-5249.
778-5249. Tickets this Friday night. What time is the show?
The show is at 7 p.m.
One show only.
One show only.
Now,
Theater
VIP
opens at 6.
tickets to meet him?
He comes out afterwards. He'll meet everybody.
Okay.
Sign his
Oh, really? Okay.
merchandise.
So
and
no
things like
VIP tickets?
No.
Just, okay. We will see you this Friday night, Emerson Center here in Vero Beach, Florida. The phone number one more time?
778-5249. Go.
Gosh, you got me convinced. Now I gotta go.
That's when they
Yeah.
go. But anyway.
That was it. It's
Yeah.
like I can do
Be
that.
there.
Yeah,
You're
right.
gonna
My
give
husband.
I
You're
mean-
gonna take the yes. I'm gonna
Thank
give
you,
you the
Dave.
white fish.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Yeah. So
Did I
you
do
came
all
in
right?
because you
You
came
did.
in. See, it was worth coming in because now we're playing a 1-hour show.
Oh, it's fabulous.
If you hadn't come in, I wouldn't have thought about that. We
Okay.
wouldn't have played it. See?
I
Okay.
really enjoyed meeting you.
Yes.
Hope to see
So,
you
yeah, I
again.
grew up in Dorchester, but I moved to Newton, so I was right near Brookline. And my
Okay.
sister-
Irish Madison.
Chestnut.
my
Yeah, but
sis- Where were you in Chestnut Street?
Chestnut Hill. I live.
Oh,
Do you know where the
Hold on,
Putterham
folks.
Golf Course
Sure.
is? Okay.
Hold on. What's your phone number, Iris?
My phone number is 301.
Hold on. This is your cell?
Yeah. 301
301
518
518
6549.
6549.
I do have an email.
You didn't put your email
I'll
on there.
put my email. Well, it's on my business
How come it's
card.
not
but
here? It's supposed to be a place for the email.
I don't
So
know,
you're
they
here a
didn't
lot.
put it, but I'm happy to give
Well,
it to you. No problem.
When
I,
he
This
doesn't
sucks.
have
There's no
somebody
email. The
who
whole
calls-
reason to do this thing is to have an email.
well,
Should she have you sign anything else?
no. So you want me to write? I'll write
Okay.
if you want.
I don't mind.
I'll be happy.
Yeah. Write the email.
Let me put
Hold
my
on.
email.
Email.
We've had a
Cat,
house
you'll
here
like
for
my
7
email.
years,
Cat
but I
Iris
think the
dot
room-
Madison, like
You
a
like
cat.
that,
I mean,
I had a
Year of
house
the
in
cat.
Manhattan, too.
I had
love
several
that.
cats.
For DC and New York. I worked
I have
in New York
glasses
20
on. That's
years,
stupid.
but yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful.
Rhett, we have your credit line approved for the request of Huntington.
I like to get things done, and it's just a little too quiet. And all my neighbors are, in quotes, retired. I'm not retired.
Yeah, they're very retired. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
see
not.
if you can read this. Make sure I